Are you ready for the start of this again? We're restarting! We are restarting the podcast with Jason King because, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, chumsters. I think that's a better way to start, isn't it? Oh, the song. The song is real because we haven't got any echo on my end, so I think the echo's fixed. And the echo should be fixed. And we're back with Jason King! LEP champion. 291 days.
Thank you, mate.
And that's because nothing ever keeps him down.
Not yet, no.
No, not yet. So, ladies and gentlemen, for anybody who wasn't there for the start, hasn't actually watched the slightly technologically hindered start to this thing, we are now restarting the podcast because we had echoes, so many echoes, and we decided we can't go on like that. We're going to restart the podcast. That's what we're doing now. And as far as I know, yeah, I'm fine. I'm watching the stream now, so I can see the echoes not there. Good. We're fine, and we're good to go. So yeah, like we said at the start of the other podcast, this isn't so much about just talking about Jason. It's so much Jason telling you his story, and I briefly compared it to how CM Punk did the Colt Cabana podcast. It's going to be that type of thing, and assuming no technological problems happen for the rest of the show, this will probably be the best Wrestlecast ever, quite potentially.
It's going to be real hard to beat the last one, because it had like 5-6 guys, but we'll try our very best on it, mate.
Yeah, well, 5-6 guys who are all pretty drunk.
Yeah, including the host. Shock.
Yeah, that happened. And we're about to start doing the fan questions last time, before we found out about the echo. So we're going to jump back on to fan questions.
If we can, just before we start, again, like I stressed last time, really all it was we came up with the idea of doing the podcast because it's 1 year today that I've been in the wrestling business. 1 year since I first came to wrestling in the Southwest, and everything we've done in this last year. I wanted to express to everybody the journey I've been on. And like I said the first time around when we tried to do this a minute ago, like it won't be just about me. It's my story. The guys I've met along the way, the girls I've met along the way, the help I've had, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows. You know, I wanted everybody to understand what this first year has been like, the things I've achieved, the work I've fucking put in. Good God, the the late nights, the early mornings, what we've done. I'm gonna try my very, very, very best to slate nobody as well, because I'm not like that. I'm not here to slate people. We're here to put people over and explain how much fun it's been. And trying to give you a little insight on what we do. I know you get some people that want to say, kayfabe, which for those who don't know basically means protecting wrestling. Its identity. Essentially, today we're not going to bullshit you and beat around the bush. We're just going to talk about some of the fun we've had. Some of the stories. That we're going to tell you some fun stories, man. We're gonna have some fun and just really try to maybe explain what this first year for me has been like. The fun I've had. So let's hope you enjoy it, guys. Any questions? Glenn will tell you. Be free, man. Just fire them away on the comments, and we'll just. We'll slot them in where they fit. That's up to Glenn. He's the boss. So whatever.
Yeah, well, I have got the question and answer app running. I don't know if that will work on the YouTube stream, but if you click on the... if there's a way to get to the actual Hangout stream, then there's a definite way to make it work. And I should be able to see your questions popping up live on air. And if we get any, we'll go right on ahead, throw them in on the fly and get them answered.
Just call it on the fly, Johnny.
Absolutely. And as for the kayfabe thing, I know what you mean. Like there'll be people out there be going, you should never break kayfabe. It's like, the problem with that is, on the WWE Network and through all
exactly.
of their DVD extras, they have basically taken kayfabe, shot it with a shotgun, then taken an assault rifle to it, and then run a tank over it to have the tank shoot it, and then drop a nuke on it.
Yeah.
It's,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's basically it. So we'll start with some of the fan questions we got, because we've got a lot of fan questions actually. The fan questions came pouring in thick and fast for this episode. I think probably more so than ever before.
Hey, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's true. It actually has happened. Some of them are quite goofy. Some of them are kayfabeable, and some of them aren't. So the first question comes to us from Luke Andrews, Mr. Luke Andrews, and this one's non-kayfabeable. What were your thoughts the first time you stepped into the LEP training centre? So on day one, you stepped back in there. What were your first thoughts when you came back?
Oh man, like even if I try to put myself back in that feeling now, oh my heart sank when you just asked me that. I remember what it felt like when I was so scared. Like honestly, oh, even thinking about it now, Jesus Christ, I shit my pants. It was so worrying because, like, so my background, I'll summarize it for you because I mentioned it before several times. When I wanted to be a wrestler was 6 years ago. I was 21. I'm 27 now. There was no wrestling in the Southwest. There wasn't any. There was no Southwest wrestling. So all the stars of the Southwest you see today, they existed, but they weren't who they are today. Okay, so if you look at who do we know down the Southwest? Joe Redman, he was up country somewhere else. He was in Portsmouth with a guy called Mark Sloan. You had Chris Andrews was in Portsmouth under the UK Kid. You had Sam Andrews was in Portsmouth under the UK Kid. You had
Danny. I remember Danny.
Danny Walsh. Danny Walsh was in Swindon under 4FW. So none of these guys were who they are in the Southwest today. I met most of them back in the day when I first trained. So that's how I know Danny and how I know Chris and a lot of these guys. I travelled all the way to Portsmouth 6 years ago to wrestle under VPW under the UK Kid. And I travelled there for 9 months to wrestle because there was no school here. There was no Southwest wrestling. The only thing we had was when VPW would come to Exmouth or Exeter once every 3 to 6 months. They'd pop down and do one show in the Exeter Corn Exchange, or they'd go to the Exmouth Pavilion. That was it. Once every, 3 to 6 months. And that was all you had, one show. Now you've got 5, 6 different wrestling companies in the Southwest. Back then, that didn't exist. I left wrestling because of my personal reasons. It didn't go like I wanted it to, and I didn't get on in the end with my coach at the time. So 6 years went by before I came back. And I remember I had a serious accident in Turkey when I was on holiday, March 31st, 2014. I was in Turkey with my brother, and I had a real serious accident where I banged my head, fell over on some uneven road, and fell unconscious, stopped breathing. Essentially died. So, in the middle of Turkey, my brother called an ambulance, and they rushed me to hospital, did a head scan on me. A lot of people don't know this, they did a head scan on me and brought me back to life, and I spent a day and a half in hospital in Turkey. So were it not for the courageous actions of my brother, he resuscitated me, gave me, mouth to mouth, and resuscitated me. I always joke that he just wanted to kiss me, but he saved my life. When I came back from that holiday, I promised myself, I said, that could have been it. Like, you wouldn't be here anymore. There would be no Jason Clark, there would be nothing. Okay, I wouldn't exist as you know me now, were it not for him. So I promised myself, I made a promise, I said, it's time to start living again. Really time to start putting the effort in. So the things I did, I went on to win a national poker tournament. I became a British pub poker champion, like 3 months later, something stupid like that. Like within 3 months, I committed to my poker and won a national. I hit my best PBs in the gym, my heaviest squats, my heaviest bench I'd ever done. And I was so full of life. I managed to get the woman back in my life that I wanted for so many years back then. And everything was flowing well. And I found the itch. Like, I'd seen posts of wrestling, and a company called Pro Wrestling Pride were running again in the Southwest. And there was a company called DCW, Devon Championship Wrestling. I think Chris Andrews was the promoter. They were running again in the Southwest. And the DWA. And I saw all these posters around the Exeter area. And I just thought, like, wrestling's here? Like, we've got wrestling now? And the itch you get, man. And I just sort of started to feel it. And I remember thinking to myself, like, well, I've done all the other things I wanted to. why don't I go back? And I really, really was nervous. And I messaged Danny Walsh, who I'd always had on Facebook over the years, who I knew, anyway, from many moons ago. Many funny stories. Funny story how about met him is how about meeting Dan is a different story for maybe later today. Messaged him and said, I want to come down one night to train. He said Tuesdays and Thursdays, and as he said Thursdays originally, Thursday nights, and I couldn't do Thursday nights because I worked till 8 p.m. Hello?
Hiya.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I got shoved out of the call there, but I've been listening to what you've been saying on the YouTube stream, which was still live.
I was wondering, like, where do you go?
Yeah.
Again, see, we're live. This stuff can happen. So I don't want to bore you.
My page just completely crashed on me.
But you're back.
I am.
You made it.
I am back alive.
I contacted Danny Walsh, and they said they trained on Thursday nights, and I worked till 8 p.m. on a Thursday. And I said, if you can ever do like a Tuesday, let me know. And I think that was kind of half-assed, kind of they'll never do Tuesdays. I'll never have to go back. I fronted about going back to wrestling for so long. Then he messages me randomly one day saying, we're starting training next Tuesday. And I was like, fuck. It'd been like 6 years. And I was so nervous. And he said, why don't you come down? And I said to him, yeah, I'll be there. And I remember his message. He said to me, we'll make sure you do, because if you leave it too long, you'll never come back. I was so fucking nervous, man. Oh, I shit my pants. And you know the setup of where we train at the moment? For anybody that knows where we train, you come through the doors, quite ominous if you've never been there before, trying to find where our ring is in our setup. You imagine the first time, mate. I went through those front doors, and I was looking around, and I was like, is this the place? And I'm shitting it, I'm really shitting it. And I'm thinking, where is everybody? And I walked to where the toilet is, and the matted area, where the martial arts section is, and I could hear people talking. And I was like, well, where are they? And I could hear their voices, and I was like, at this point, boom, 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 heart's going. I'm thinking, oh God, I don't want to. I was so scared, man. I was just like, oh no, I don't want to go back. I was telling myself, I was like, I'm not even kidding. I parked up by the casino at the top, and I thought, because I had been going to the Torquay Casino for many, many months, I think how close wrestling was that whole time. And I thought to myself, just walk back out those doors, leave, delete Danny on Facebook. You'll never have to think of wrestling again. You'll never have. But I knew what would happen. My mind would tell me again, but you want to wrestle. And I knew I wanted to for so many years. So the hell with it. I told myself, South, they're in this building somewhere. Find them. Promise, because I had the Thursday off, which is pure grace of God. So I promised myself, I said, do tonight, do Thursday. If you never go back, you never go back. But at least you know whether you still want it bad enough or not. I walked down those ominous steps, mate. There's that door, isn't there? When you walk in, and the ring's right there. Mate, I'm walking down those steps, I can hear people talking, and I'm thinking are there going to be 50 people there, 100 people there? I'm shitting myself, I'm thinking I'm going to walk in, all these guys are going to be like, who's this motherfucker, I'm complete opposite of how LEP is. You know how LEP is, how welcoming, how friendly, and I'm thinking oh God. Man, even me, you know what I'm like, but I was literally shitting myself, shitting my pants. I walk there, and there's Danny, he's like, oh, hey, Jace. I'm like, oh, hello, mate. And we shake hands, and I'm thinking I'm instantly at ease, man. I'm like, oh, you know this guy, Jace, relax, relax. And I see Grayson and Brian Forbes in the ring, and they're just chatting, and Grayson's got his gay long hair, and this was Brian before he lost all his weight as well, and I thought, oh, he's a big fella, I thought, I wonder what he can do. And we shook hands, we chatted. And I remember Dan saying to Grayson, he said, Jason just used to do some stuff with DWA. When in reality, I did one session with DWA in Exeter, just one. So he said, and then he said, I think he's done some stuff with VPW. I was like, yeah, 9 months actually. I have done some stuff, but the first thing he said when we were warming up, he goes, right guys, Jace, Matt, if you do just want to get into drop down leapfrog 10 times. And I am not in ring shape at this point. I've been out of ring shape for years. He's like, drop down leapfrog times 10. Ready, guys? I'm like, drop down leapfrog. I'm thinking, you're fucking joking. Mate, I couldn't drop down leapfrog times 3. And you know what Matt's like? Competitive little fuck. He's hitting those ropes fast too, man. He wasn't messing about. I'll do like 10 drop down leapfrogs, and I'm like, where? You know, I'm like, I am blown, and I'm thinking like, oh God, I forgot what this was like. Brian and Dan's like, okay, switch, and I'm thinking I'm the new guy. You know, it's my first night, and he's not going to make me do anything. And he goes, right, Matt out, Chase, 10 drop down, Brian drop down, you know, duck the line, times 10, with Jason. And I'm thinking, oh, you're joking! You know, 10 drop down, duck the line, double under, elbow for clothesline, elbow clothesline. You know, times like 10. Oh my God! Bumping again. You know what it's like when you first bump. You know, you know, you're landing on the back of your head, you're landing on your lower back, you're popping your shoulder. Oh my God! I came away from that session absolutely brutalized. I fucking. Man, I came back and I was like, did my first video back and I was like, I love it. I was just like, I love it. I missed it, man. Because you know, by the end of the session, I was bumping right again. It was coming back to me, like locking up and stuff was all coming back to me. And I remember thinking, like, I can do this. You know, I was like, I can fucking do this. It was so cool. Like, such a nice feeling. And I could have been put more ease, you know, and I really tried to help Matt and Briam in the sense that, I couldn't help them with wrestling. I was far too out of practice. I didn't know anything. Didn't know my ass from my elbow, you know. But I was able to help them with the confidence. You know, I'm quite over the top with my positivity, and I really was. You know, when they were getting tired and they weren't working together, I was like, boys, you know, we got this kind of thing. You know, man, we banded together, the three of us. So I got a special bond with Matt and Brian. You know, those are the two guys that, because they were there on my first night. You know, those are the two that I've said many times, podcasts and interviews and in, you know, when I've been asked at, you know, when we've been out drinking with all the guys at shows, when fans have asked, those two guys have got a soft spot in my heart, because were it not for them that first night, in a strange way, I don't think I would ever came back. You know, they both put me at ease when I was a bit off. I was a little bit, you know, maybe my bump wasn't quite right, or I was locking up a little stiff. They were saying to me the headlocks were off, you know, the basic stuff. And they were kind of saying, you know, relax, come on, you got this. And they were making me feel good. So a big thank you goes to Matt and Brian. And Dan, obviously, man, I'll sing his praises a million times. But, you know, to Matt and Brian, they put me at ease. But to answer Luke's question, long-winded, because I always answer long-winded, I shit my pants, is the truth. Shit my fucking pants. Pardon my language, but I don't know how else to describe it. I was so scared. One of the most frightening things I've ever done in my life. Ever.
Yeah, starting was... That was like, literally the story you just told there. You can apply that to me and you. Like, literally. Yeah. That's when I first shown up. And I hadn't even done any like physical activity for like
yeah, man, you were out of shape. I remember you were out of shape, young man. Yeah, but look at how far you've come.
I know, right? That's the scary thing. Like it builds so quick.
Yeah, because it's so demanding. The body has got no choice but to adapt. You must adapt. You know, that's it. Wrestling is not
die.
Yeah, basically. You're either going to come up to wrestling every week and end up laying on your back fucking dead. Someone's going to kick you out the ring and say next. Or your body's going to say, do you know what? I've got to get tougher. I've got to get leaner. I've got to get stronger. I've got to get faster, because this wrestling malarkey ain't no joke. You know, we don't mess about down there, do we?
No, not really. There's not a whole lot of messing about going on in that ring. But then again, you kind of answered Luke's second part of that question in that story, which was who's helped you the most in training, which is Brian Forbes and Matt Grayson.
You know, in the beginning, those two definitely. I think that I'm going to speak very frankly, like I always do. I've been called outspoken many times, but that's just me as a person. So I'm going to just put this warning there now that I'm going to speak quite plain. I'm not really going to mince my words. I never do. I wouldn't do it if we were there, you know, not me and you, but I wouldn't do it if I was face to face with someone. So I simply will speak quite frank. So the fact is that in the beginning, those guys, but mostly I progressed quite quick. Once it came back to me, it came back pretty fast, and I improved very quickly. In my opinion, I really did. I began to pick it up. I don't get things the first time. I never do. I'm not one of these naturals that just can do it, sees it on TV and can do it. I have to work hard to even do anything. But that's what I do, is I work hard. So if I don't get it first time, again, till it's right, till it's perfect. So they helped me in the beginning, absolutely. As time went on, it was me. I had to do it myself, and the man that helped me most really was Dan Walsh, because I used to say to him, if there's anything little mistakes you see that I'm making, tell me everything. If you didn't like the way my footwork was, didn't like the way I sold, he would sometimes say to me, not bad, I would pick up the basics, the slam, the suplex, and he would say, thing is, when you did that, I didn't like you selling that way. You were too closed in. Open up more, So he really took me from, can you see me on camera now?
Yeah. You can see
So
it.
he kind of took my training here to like here, in my opinion, because he was able to say to me, okay, so you got the basic stuff. You want to put a twist on that? Put your twist, your Jason King on it. He got me here to here by the things he would say to me, the things he would teach me, the way that he would show me how to move even sometimes. So it's little things as the way I would sell, the facials I would use, So he, my coach, he's the man that's got me through training most. And anybody that comes to LEP will see the same thing. He's got, help now, with a few other guys that come and gone over time as coaches, but it was Dan Walsh that's helped me most, with my wrestling, because my fundamentals I learned under the UK kid at BPW, but to be able to put my twist on it and to endorse my character, it was Danny Walsh that believed in me and helped me with moves that I should do, the way I should move, the way I should work, the double axe handle was the best thing he's given me. So simple that I don't use it in all my matches, but such a simple move that makes sense to me, that like for the Jason King character, he can't go up top, man. So when I do, I've never hit the motherfucker anyway. So like, it always leads to something stupid, man. But that's such a simple twist, So my answer is Danny Walsh. It's helped me most with my training.
Yeah, that's also like Danny is one of those people, and this is why Danny works so well as a trainer. He sees people and he instantly knows what will suit him.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Which same can be said for me, but
oh
yeah, definitely. Like the things that I'm trying to do in the training, and he's like, nah. He's like, no, wait, nah. You should probably not think about doing this move, although you'd probably think it looked really cool. No, you just do something like this, and then it'll be dominant. And so
he has a way of doing it as well, where he'll say it to you, and you kind of go like, "Oh yeah," like you kind of go, "Oh yeah, that does make sense." Like he'll be like, "Can you see from here?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, it makes sense." Like it's nice. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but from where I'm standing, he's literally just muted this halfway through.
I had to there. No, that's I know what you mean about Danny though doing that. The next question comes from Alan Cox. Now this is another question you're gonna have to be pretty frank about. It is, do you prefer Goz or Good Kid?
What a question! Now here's the thing you got to bear in mind, right? People that don't know my personal life, right? Goz and Good Kid are the two guys I run with and I ride with, and if you've been keeping up to date on Facebook, you'll see that we have tried to kidnap Good Kid. It all started innocently when me and Goz had come back from a great session at LEP, and Good Kid wasn't there because he was in London watching Progress Wrestling. That gives him his erection every time he talks about it. So we came to his house live on air. We were going to come to his house and take him out down the local and go and have a beer with him and celebrate what a great night we'd had and catch up with him because we'd not seen him in a week. Well, this live stream on Facebook, the whole time we're driving around in the car, we get to his housemate answers and says, he's not in. And we're like, what? We're like, we just done a 20-minute video on the way here. People are viewing this video and his housemate's like, yeah, he's not here. We felt like he kind of made us look a little stupid. And then he taunted us that night by putting up a status saying like, idiots, they'll never get me. So the next night, we turned up again. We turned up and he's in bed with a girl who's going to remain anonymous. But he's in bed with a girl. We catch him in bed with this girl. We kidnap him, stick him in a penguin suit, stuff him in the boot of my car for 20 minutes, right? We come back out to the car. I start filming live again and tell everybody. I say, guys, we've got a good kid. You know, he's in the boot of the car. I said to Gauze, I said, go get him. Show everybody that we've got him. Gauze opens the boot of the car. Good kid smacks him and runs off. I don't know if I prefer Good Kid, the little prick, or if I prefer Gauze, because Gauze, it was his fault. All he had to do was pick Good Kid up and show everybody and stuff him back in the boot. So right now, neither of them in my good books. So I'm going to say I don't prefer either. How does that sound? For a non-diplomatic answer.
Well, that's a fair answer, because then at least you're not playing favourites, right?
Hey, listen, if Gauze gets hold of Good Kid for me and stuffs him in the boot of my car again where he belongs, then the answer is Gauze.
Fair play. Owen Day has a question, and that is, what do you think of AJ Air? Simple question, I guess.
Yeah, very good. AJ Air is a young man he's got a lot of passion, and when AJ Air has a habit, right? Again, I'm going to be completely honest. He has a habit. He's like I was when I was a young man. He lets his mind wander sometimes, and it wanders away from his wrestling. But the reason for that is because, like everybody in life, we've all got more in our lives, most of us, than just what happens in the wrestling ring. And I think sometimes AJ's got other things on his plate, which is understandable. But when AJ Air zones into being AJ Air, what a performer! I mean, honestly, what a performer! If you watch the best of, I know because I've wrestled him. If you watch like AJ Air when he's on song and he's at his best, you don't believe he's 13. Like, you don't, because it's like he's got good chain for a young man, and when he bumps too, when he takes his time on his bumps and his movement, man, he bumps well too, and he tells a good story at 13. He's over with the fans, the local fans. They know who he is. He gets a good reaction. He's put it this way: 291 days I've been champion. He's the junior champion at the moment, but mark my words, he'll be a future LEP Wrestling Academy champion. No doubt, he will be a future Academy champion. Most definitely. I don't doubt it for a second, because he's too good not to be. If he stays wrestling, if he continues to wrestle that long, should time and other commitments permit, then I'd be very surprised. I'm 99% sure that you've got a future Academy champion there. He's a young man with a lot of passion, is who he is, and honestly, what I rank as a good performer. Good performer. Oh, and of course, a pleasant young man.
And there you go, Owen. That's your answer. Now, Gauze got mentioned earlier on, and now this question comes in from Gauze.
Fuck Gauze.
Yeah, you shouldn't have let Good Kid escape. So, has anyone ever kicked out of your finisher?
Oh, you motherfucker! Why?
You had to ask that question, didn't he? Yeah.
So now he's ribbing me, right? That motherfucker. Look, here's the thing. I'm a firm believer in. He's a prick. I hope he's watching. I'm a firm believer that. What I can care. I'm a firm believer that finishing moves are finishing moves. Okay. And you don't kick out the rock bomb, you don't kick out the stunner, you don't kick out the FU, you don't kick out the tombstone. You see it at WrestleMania because it's WrestleMania, okay? That's when you see it. But you don't just kick out every night on Raw or in the WWE. And I don't believe even at local shows you should be no-selling and kicking out people's finishes. Because that's the story of wrestling. That's why it's a finishing move. When Jerry Lawler used to put the strap down and drop that the fist from the second rope, or he hit you with a pile driver, you knew it was Goodnight Irene. That was it. The show was over. Once Jake the Snake hit that DDT, you were going to sleep. You believe Jake the Snake had neon paralyzed the guy. In today's world, you see some wrestling where they've got to do like, back flip, front flip, top rope, middle rope, top rope, front flip, into a blade, into an arm drag. And I'm like, why can't you just make that move mean something? So I like my finish to mean something. It's quite devastating. A few of the shows I'm at, they know now, like, when I've hit it, that's it. Goodbye, it's over. Apart from one time when I was wrestling at LEP 5. I wrestled the Super Cat and his little buddy, Kitty Cat, as he was called at the time. Young man was 14 years old at the time, and I hit my finish. The idea was I was going to win by disqualification. I was going to brutalize the guy so that Super Cat could come out and save his little buddy. Because this guy's like a small lad, you know. He's about 9 stone, man. He's a little kid, basically. He's a young man. We have a nice little match, and we tell a good story. Comes to finish. Boom, I hit my finish. It's supposed to go 1, 2, and I pull up his head. And I say, no, I don't want to beat him like that. You know, I'm going to whoop his ass a different way. It goes 1, 2, and before it's even 2.5, he rolls his shoulder up, and everyone in the crowd goes, "Ah!" I was like, "You piece of shit!" Fucking me right off. I was just like, "Who are you?" I couldn't believe my eyes, man. There was a moment of like genuine, like, son of a bitch. Like he killed me, man. My whole everything was just like, oh, I can never say no one's ever kicked out of my, like, I can never say, all right, there were like 15 people watching this show, but still, I was just like, why? So what I did was I picked him up, put him in the corner, and I hit him with my forearms, and you ask some of the guys that wrestle, I do something where I forearm a lot of guys, and I don't mean forearm like this way, I club them. I don't know if you can see this, I like club them with my forearms. It's just something I do. It looks quite rough and it looks quite mean. I can do it quite fiercely without really inflicting too much pain on anybody. It stings, but it doesn't hurt, you know. I sort of did that to him. I battered the poor lad in the corner because I was so I was so mad. I was so cross about what had happened, you know. So yes, guys, you piece of shit. Somebody has kicked out my finish. Now it wasn't anybody that's really high on the card. No disrespect to the young man. He's very new at the time, very green, and but yes, it was a chap. A man that goes by the name of Kitty Cat that kicked out of my finish. So thanks very bloody much. Cheers.
Oh man, it's like, yeah, that moment he kicks out like, who do you think you are, the Undertaker?
Mate, yeah, exactly. I was just looking at him like he was laying there, like, you know, oh god, and I was thinking, what have you done to me? Like, why? Like, why?
Yeah,
killed me.
So the next question comes from one of the long-time rivals of Jason King, John Aubrey.
Oh, that piece of... No, John's good.
Yeah. So, his question is, well, one of his questions, he's got 3. Even after a year...
3?
He's got 3 questions.
He always was a greedy prick.
He always was, yeah. Still is. Even after a year, why is Jason King still a weasel?
He can't help himself, can he? You know what I mean? You knew, like, there was no way, right, when you heard that John Aubrey had done a question, that you just knew it wasn't going to be something polite.
Yeah,
like, you know?
You just knew as soon as I said, this question comes from John Aubrey, like, oh, here we go. What's it going to be?
John Aubrey, you know, I've watched him refereeing some matches, and honestly, I think Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles could have seen more than he sees. You know, he misses so much in the matches, honestly. He seems to be spending a lot of the time on his back, actually, I've noticed. I don't know why that keeps happening. You know, why John keeps conveniently getting taken out during these matches. I don't know, you know, why that keeps happening, but I guess Jason King is... I'm going to say Jason King is not a weasel. I'm going to say that Jason King is extremely calculated. That's what I'm going to say.
Is smart. So, his next question is continues along the same lines of insulting. What did it feel like losing to Dancing Daddy Bainsley at CPW on November the 28th at Weybridge?
It was November 28th at Weybridge. I remember it because it was my first professional loss as Jason King. And it felt horrible, to be honest. To be totally truthful, I hated it. I really, really, really didn't like it. I didn't like the ending, and I didn't like it the way it went. I was quite vocal about how disappointed I was. Unlike me, to be truthful. So I felt that, honestly, I really felt like, well, why don't I come in and win that bloody trophy? I wasn't ready at the time. I was nowhere near ready, to be honest. But that's how I get ahead of myself sometimes. So I didn't like losing. I didn't like the way I lost. I didn't like the way the match went, because we'd gone from having 12 minutes and some decent spots to, we're doing that, you can't do it. We're doing that, you can't do it. And we're doing that, you can't do it, from a certain person that was backstage at the time. So we cut down everything good we had, pretty much. and it came down to it was a nice match, really, for what it's worth. The crowd loved it. You know, credit must go to Danny Bainsley, because his fundamentals are actually pretty good, you know, as a wrestler, as a performer. They love him in Cornwall, and he's like, who else could look, and I don't think he'll be insulted by me saying this, who can honestly look like he looks? You know, he admits it himself. But you have to understand, when you look like that, the kind of performance you've got to put on, and he does. As Dancing Danny Bainsley, okay, as a performer, I can't knock him. Why would I knock him? But I mean, I can't knock him. As Dancing Danny Bainsley in Cornwall, I've heard he got the second loudest pop I ever heard in Cornwall, ever. He is so over. He's the trophy champion, and I was arrogant enough to think that I should have walked into my first match and won that, and that would have been wrong, because I didn't deserve it. I had not earned it. That's how I felt at the time. It was wrong of me to think that way and feel that way. He's the man, you know. He's proven in Cornwall. I don't know what it is about these Cornish, man, but they love him. So how did I feel losing that match? John O'Brien, you piece of crap. You know, you were the one that cost me the match. So I'll get my revenge on John O'Brien. You know, mark my words, before I'm done in this business, John O'Brien will be lying with his back up facing the stars, I promise you. And it'll be at my hand too. You watch. That's a promise for everybody watching this. I'll get John O'Brien. Over there. I'll get him.
Yeah. He's got it going to him, hasn't he?
Oh, really? He has. There's no doubt in it. No doubt.
His final question is, let's be honest, with the way they've gone so far, you're not expecting any different from his last question, are you?
Yeah.
What did Chris Andrews' TKO feel like when you lost to Chris Andrews in your hometown? Yeah. At least this is his last question, right?
What does he want? You know what I mean? Like, does he want to see me burn? Like, what does he want? You know?
He's like, I want to bathe in Jason King's tears.
Yeah, literally. You know, God damn, John O'Brien. That was my best performance of my entire career. So to come out without the win, it's probably right. How did the TKO feel? Frustrating, annoying, painful, hard, firm, tough.
Generally not pleasant.
not pleasant. Great. If you ever get the chance to wrestle Chris Andrews, to everybody I recommend it. You want to know what it's like to be, you know, he's so smooth in that ring. Fuck, it's ridiculous. He's so big and so strong, and yet so smooth, like with the way he moves, his actions, the way it was a great match. I loved it. Really loved it. But the TKO, it didn't feel nice. That's your answer, John, you piece of crap. You happy? Didn't feel pleasant. Bathing in my goddamn tears again.
He's a bugger for that. So the next question now, this is going to be a better one. This is going to be a nicer one. It's not on the lines of an O'Brizzle. This is Luke Andrews, who came back. He asked another question later on. This one's a really, really good one. And it's, what is it about LEP that you love so much?
That will probably be the best question I get asked tonight, to be honest. I think, I don't know the others, but that will be probably the, you know, let's cut this down, break this down, okay? If you're gonna put the kettle on, do it now, because this one's a 90-second, 2-minute answer, okay?
I think as well, you can this one can be summed up really well with that story about Plymouth.
Yeah, absolutely. So I spoke briefly about my first night in LEP and with Grace and Briam. The next night, Eve the Beef was there, AJA was there, Wolfie, Jamie Powell was there, Matt Dragon was there. There was about 7 or 8 of us that were there the second time around, my second night on the Thursday. And we did some shoot wrestling and stuff. And I remember, it's not a stretch to say I'm a locker room leader in LEP. You know, I'm like I'm the locker room leader for all the guys in LEP. I think, you know, I'm the kind of how it is, I guess. I don't think that's a stretch to say that. I don't think I'm, you know, speaking sort of out of turn. I think it's quite accurate. The camaraderie we've all got, the bond that was built on respect. I'm really big on respect in life, and very important that you respect, you know, people that earn your respect. And I believe that somebody starts with your respect. They say it's earned, but I'm very humanitarian in the sense that I do believe that we can all coincide. So for me, it's very big that everybody starts with respect, and it is lost. You lose someone's respect. I don't see the situation in a way that you have to earn it. I think you start with it. There would be no reason why you don't. So one thing I was really big on was always thanking everybody and building everybody up. So when we would be working out, for example, they'd be shoot wrestling, and they'd be tired. Everyone would just be stood there like with their heads down watching, and I'd be screaming like, you train with me, you know what I'm like. Come on, boys, one more, move, let's go. And I'd be screaming ways when they were shoot wrestling, how to spin to get out of a hold, or how to take a guy's leg, or how to take his head. And I'm on the outside sweating more than they were sweating on the inside, and I was building this almost like intangible feeling within LEP, and after every time someone shoot wrestled, I'd give them a high five. I'd say, nice set, who's next? Let's go, boys. And a bond started to grow. And it's what we call the brotherhood of LEP now. You often hear John Aubrey, the little prick, you often hear him speak about it, and you hear, Darren, and, all the boys, you'll often hear it's a brotherhood, it's a family feel of LEP. I was extremely welcomed. I'm not going to say I was solely responsible for building that brotherhood, because that would be outrageously wrong. But I do believe I helped put the foundations in place to build what was a place that used to be 10, 15 individuals that became 10, 15 members of a team. Because when you welcome new people, the shaking of the hands, when I turned up, there's this old thing in wrestling, I don't know where the hell it comes from, but everybody's always got to shake everybody's hand. I don't know where it comes from, but when you go to a show, everybody seems to shake everybody's hand 1,000 times. I don't know what it is, but everybody seems to do it. We didn't seem to do it at LEP, I noticed. So we'd always get everybody shaking everybody's hand. You'll notice now, doesn't everybody shake everybody's hand and hug when they turn up?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was there in the beginning when there wasn't a lot of shaking hands and there wasn't a lot of hugging, and it wasn't there. I know because I started to hug everybody and I started to shake everybody's hand. And that's a respect thing. I mean, it's so important to me that we stress that element of respect for everybody. Top of the card, bottom of the card, oldest guy, youngest guy. Everybody works as a team. What I love about LEP is every time somebody new comes in, they're welcomed with opening arms, and they're welcomed with a smile. And I was welcomed by all the family. Melissa Day and Dave and Alison and Nick Massey and Rebecca Drury and obviously Mark and Danny and everybody, man. That. Like the first couple of shows I came to, they're so good to me, so nice to me. And I remember watching CPW 1, the first CPW show I came to watch, and they were, said travel with us and, eat with us beforehand. And, they were so good to me. They were just so welcoming. And I realized like LEP is not just a group of people, it's a family of people. We may not be related in blood, but we're related in belief and related in spirit, and we're related in how we care about each other, how we treat each other. There's no negatives at LEP. If somebody's negative, then, I'll normally do a pretty good job of having a quiet word and asking what's going on, finding out what the deal is, seeing if we can do something to make sure that they're okay. Because you never want to see somebody down in the dumps. You never want to see anybody, not feeling the vibe. And at LEP, man, because you're there. You know what the vibes are. What was it? Tell me what happened on your first night, right? You help me answer this question. How was your first night? Talk me through it. Talk the people that are listening through it.
Right. So first night. So after CPW, me and Marcus, we had found out about LEP from Mark Walsh after the show. He's gone down on Tuesday, and we're like, I've got to do it. So we went down there, and we completely underestimated cardio. We completely underestimated everything. So, I was like, Jesus, this is tougher than I thought. After like 3 minutes of knee ups against the ropes, right? 3 minutes of them. So 10 minutes, I was like, fucking hell, that's a good cardio.
That's a warm up, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then we did the rounds. I think there was, oh, good God, there's about 10 of us there on that day, because it was you, Grace was there, Brian was there, Alex was there. There's so many guys that are there. A few of the guys actually I haven't seen for a while. Oh, Bad Boy Bennett, he was there.
Bad Boy Bennett was there, yeah. The fittest man on earth. He was there.
Oh, God, yes. Goz was there, obviously. There's a lot of guys. So we had so many different stations, a minute on each, and I remember I was like, Jesus Christ. And then Danny goes, all right, now we're going to do something. And this is the bit that you're interested in. This is the bit where it gets good. This is where the whole story's been building to. So the exercise is you jump into the air, you then take a squat.
Like a jumping squat, yep.
Yeah, jump, squat, but you have to land it and then squat. Don't just sort of go whoosh like that. It's jump, squat, then press up, drop down into your press up, switch around, do a sit up, and then a leg raise. And you had to do that cycle of movements 50 times. Now, of course, I was already practically dead. Like I think I said earlier on tonight, I hadn't done a physical activity in, I don't know, proper physical exercise for like a good 3 or 4 years. So coming to do that, I was practically dead.
I remember you were pale as well.
Yeah, I was practically dead. I'm there taking 10 breaths in between each movement sometimes. But you know what it was? Everybody else has finished because their cardio, because they've been doing it. Jason was doing it with me. Jason had come over and was doing it with me at my pace, just going, come on, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you've got this. Just one more leg raise. And then it's just another leg raise. And I was like, yeah, I can do this. And then, of course, obviously from CPW, you had PJ Jones, he's been on the podcast before. His whole thing is winner, right? So literally, after battling through this cardio drill, struggled through it, got through it in the end, literally, no hesitation. As soon as I step up, the whole room just erupts in a unanimous winner! And I was like, this place is awesome.
Everybody's cheering you, man. We were all like spurring you on.
Everyone's like, come on. Yeah, and that's what you get, LEP. Like, you do roll drills as well. I can add to this. You do roll drills as well. Like, if you nail the nip up, which is like, for those of you who don't know what a nip up is, Shawn Michaels used to do the forearm and then just go for his back straight up. That's a nip up. Every time you land one of those, everyone's like, yes! Get in! You got it. So that's LEP. That's the team spirit. And I said the Plymouth show would really...
for example, the Plymouth show, there were some problems. It's our first time running in Plymouth as under the banner of LEP. Obviously, there are other companies, PWA, that run in Plymouth. So we ran that same night for whatever reason. We won't discuss that on this podcast, but we ran the same night. And
it's actually quite innocent, to be honest, but it's just PWA had a cancelled show. We were like, we wanted to expand anyway. Stonehouse Creek was available, the centre was available, and we're like, let's do it. And then PWA decided they were going to do the show after all, and that's why it was double booked. It wasn't really. It's quite an innocent thing. It's just unfortunate, really, that it happened.
So with the Plymouth show, we were running a little late for whatever reason. We ended up starting an hour late. Now, what went in to the prep for that show, the postering, the work that everybody put in, the Cornish lads, Luke, Jago, Glenn, Marcus, postering around Cornwall and Plymouth. PC Harris must have posted every city in Devon at one point, Danny Walsh, I posted with him, the Top Room show the week before. Young JP was another hard-working man.
Oh, he got all the schools.
Absolutely. John Obrey and his good lady Kelly, when they travelled to Plymouth to poster. Everybody else, obviously, just some names. And we
podcasted about it as well to help do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Give yourself a pat on the back. The effort that goes in, okay. The effort that goes in, and if I get started on this, I'll lose my rag. I'm so happy. But to simply put, we were running behind, we were up against time, okay?
Yeah. Yeah,
What
literally,
separates us?
the wrong van showed up, so we literally couldn't get our stuff to the
Man, we
show.
had what separates us, I think, from a lot of other brands, the LEP brand. What separates us, this camaraderie we have, is that our goal is a common goal to succeed as one. Our goal is to succeed as one, and fundamentally, we all want to succeed as one, as the black and yellow, as LEP. It's not a case of this promoter's booked me, I'm coming, I'm earning my money, I'm putting on a match, I'm going home. Every single person, bottom, middle, and top, from the boss, the boss's wife, the trainers, the champions, the performers, the merch girls, the posterers, the ring crew, the announcers, the photographer, every single person puts in a shift, puts in a grind, puts the work in. Every single one for the same common goal. That's what I've always said separates us from everybody else. When the ring came, it turned up late, we had to think fast. Maximo and Jason King were doing a live cast in front of all the crowd. They were getting restless, waiting to get in. We had kids that were holding the belt. We had people winning raffles. The MC, Terry Speller, CPW management, came out and did a raffle prize for them. The people were so happy. They turned from here to here, their mood, before they even got in the door. We had, one good guy that doesn't get enough of mention that's really, really big on ring is David Fury and Melv. He doesn't get a mention enough. There's a guy that doesn't get enough credit.
He never gets enough credit.
His old school mentality of everybody does the ring, everybody gets the ring up, everybody gets the ring down. He bollocked me at Topsham. I think it was me and you. He bollocked, and he's bloody right too. I think we were talking to the March girls. He comes over and says, like, guys, ring. We're like, oh shit, like, you don't want to piss him off. It might not have been you, it's me and someone. But
no, I don't remember it. So it probably was someone else. Yeah.
Yeah, but and he's right. He was like, pretty good at sort of commanding the way, and he doesn't do it in a way that's like bossy. He does it in a way that's commanding it how it needs to be. He's very big at getting everybody together, get this ring done. That's our duty. It's part of what we do. And everybody goes with it, and everybody works hard, and everybody's helping each other. There was a place for everyone, and everybody had their place, is how I would describe LEP. Everybody's got their slot. Everybody wants to help each other. Nobody goes, oh, shit, I can't do that now because that prick's doing it in the match. I'm going to do it anyway. Screw the show, I'm getting paid. Everybody fits in and does their own thing. Everybody helps each other, works with each other. It's a brotherhood, it's a camaraderie, it's family. That's what makes us who we are. It's no one. You're never going to hear about bullying in LEP. You're never going to hear about people getting kicked out, getting not being welcomed. It just doesn't happen. It will not happen. I know because I'm there. I'm at the front of it. So someone show me someone that has ever unwelcomed somebody in LEP. You can't. You can never tell me you've ever come to an LEP show and not been treated well. You cannot. I would like to talk face to face with anybody that says, I came to your show, I was treated like shit, I didn't get this, I didn't get that, or I met your wrestlers and they were miserable. I don't fucking think so.
Yeah, that will never happen.
From the boss all the way down the card, it doesn't happen. Never. Because we've all got that goal of making our product the best we can. We hang out together outside of wrestling. We drink together. We ride together. We spend. Man, we all came down to Cornwall for which is like a nearly 100-mile drive just the other day for your birthday. All the crew hanging out, man. Everybody's friends, everybody's family, everybody's blood. I don't watch Fast and Furious, and it's gonna sound a little bit cheesy. I've seen the films, but look at their bond. It's a good example because I know a lot of people have seen Fast and Furious. It's a similar bond. It's like a brotherhood. It's a family. We welcome everybody. Everybody's welcome. You just got to put the shift in, put the grind in, put the work in. Come be part of it. Let's grow as one. That's what I love about LEP. I love the brotherhood feeling, man. The brother and sisterhood, because there's women too. But that family feel.
That is what makes LEP special, I think.
Yeah.
It's like you say, it's just, we had that ring up and we had that show ready to rock from virtually nothing in that arena.
Yeah.
When the fans were supposed to be coming in, the fans were supposed to be in their seats, and the ring had only just shown up at the ring. We had that ring up and running, and the show started.
I think we're only 30 minutes late in the end, weren't we? Hello? Is he gone again? God damn, live TV again. I think that when people watch this back, because I don't know if he's still there, but I can't see him or hear him. If you guys can still hear me, it's got to be one of those scenarios when you're going to be watching this podcast and you're just going to be like, it keeps messing up. That's how it feels to me, because I don't know where he is. Like, as far as I'm concerned, he's gone. I don't know if you can see me still saying live on my screen. But what he was trying to say was, we were running a little bit late for, obviously in circumstances, but we got the ring in, man. We had that ring up. You had 20 people, doing this ring, and we all really went at it. I've never seen people get metal and wood on so fast. We were off that truck, we were running, we were all squeezing, we were all focused on the contraction, as I always shout. We got that ring in, man. Out of that van in that hall. Oh, we must have had that ring in in and up within 30 minutes. That's pretty good. You'll get some smart asses tell you, they can get their ring up in 15 or whatever. But the way we did things, man, it was what it was. You know what I mean? I think it's gone. I'm not really sure what's happening right now. I just got a text message saying we can't see you, but we can't hear you. And I just got a notification saying Glenn Chun's left this call. I have no idea what's about to happen on his podcast. I literally have no idea what happens now. So this is a first for me. And he's back. Glenn Chun. Or is he gone again? Glenn Chun left this call. He's gone again. If you are still watching right now, what the hell just happened there?
Well, what happened there is my computer stalled.
Okay.
Literally, and I'm now on my phone whilst I'm waiting for it to start back up. This is incredible. I don't think this is... I don't...
I love how it's running, mate. Mate, here's the thing. I love how it's not running smooth, because it furthers our point about what we're saying about the LEP thing. It's like when it doesn't run smooth, we're casual, man. We're casual. Hey, I kept the podcast afloat, mate. Don't worry. I kept it afloat.
I have lots of faith that you did, mate. It's like I'm trying my best. Like the tech is just going. It's like anything that could have happened now has happened.
Who cares, man? Who cares? We're having fun, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what this podcast is about, right? And I'm gonna get back onto the computer because it does work better than the phone. But yeah, it was like, I remember that show it started only 10 minutes late. Bearing in mind there, because we normally allow for like half an hour for like people to get seated, don't we? And then the show starts at normally half an hour after the doors open. This show only started 10 minutes late, even though the ring wasn't there when they were supposed to enter. That's how good.
Yeah, like I was saying while you were off taking a nap, or whatever the hell you were doing a minute ago, I was telling all the people that were listening, I was saying to them that we had that ring up, man, in 30 minutes too. You had like 20 guys. I have never seen wood and metal move so fast. We literally got that thing off that van, man. Everybody. We moved that ring off that van into that hall. We were up and ready to go. You know what I mean? That ring was up, man. We were like those guys that build cannons and break them down and move them again. You ever seen the army where they do those things? Those like demonstrations. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. I get it.
Yeah,
I know
those guys. Man, we moved the whole thing hard and fast. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy, but it was good. It was cool. I'm wondering, you got any more fan questions on there? Or are you still? Are we still buying time while you're while you're setting get back up?
I'm now back. Back on the computer.
Oh my God, he's back on the computer.
And that means I should hang up on the phone, because then you've got two of me.
I've now got one of you.
That's better. We have a question there's two questions from Derek Gibbon. This is an awesome one.
So before we get to Derek Gibbon, can I just say that Plymouth show as well, because we all banded together and worked so hard, probably quality-wise, one of the best shows in LEP history, quality-wise. I'd say as well, those fans were so up for that show as well. They've been waiting, man. We made them wait a little longer than they had to. So I think by the time they came in, they were ready to see wrestling. And by God, did they get wrestling?
They got it. Yeah, they got wrestling and a half.
Yes, sir. Got. Yes, they did.
And that's what you can be. That's what you can be promised if you go to an LEP show. It's just quality. But yeah, Derek Gibbon asks, what storyline / angle have you enjoyed doing the most?
That's an easy one, right? That good question, Derek, and I'm glad you asked. My favourite story began when I was PWA, based in Plymouth. They told me and my tag team partner at the time, Mark Walsh. Me and Mark kind of got through together as just like a makeshift tag team. We were put together as like, I don't know what to do with these two, put them together. We created, in my opinion, or the foundations we created, something that could have gone a very long way. Like, we really had good camaraderie. We complimented each other. I was silly. He was mean. You know,
Yeah.
I was a cheat. He was a badass. And I thought we had good, like, you know, I thought we bounced really well off each other, me and Mark. I really
thought
did.
it was brilliant. I loved it. The
I
elite.
thought, you know, yeah, we were, because you've got two guys that in life love themselves. I mean, he really does think he's a badass, and he really does, you know, dislike a lot of people. And I really am an arrogant prick. You know what I mean? So we really just went out and we were ourselves. But we like each other, so we, you know, we got on real well. We had a lot of fun, and the best angle was we got to wrestle TNT. That's TNT.
Yes,
Maximo, you know this. So that's Maximo and Jack Union. Now, I'm working the door. I'm a doorman. And I'm working the door in the pub in Exmouth that I used to work at. And I'm there talking to these two people that are in the bar. It's getting close to closing time. And I'm looking, and I can see the guy I'm working with appears to be talking to a few people. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? So I walk out the front of the door thinking, hold on a minute, you know, something looks like it's kicking off here. I look up, and there's Mark Walsh, Maximo, and Jack Union. And I'm like, I'm thinking, what the fuck are they doing in Exmouth? You know, they live in 50 miles away. So I'm like, what? I said, come in, boys. And I bought them all a beer, and we sat down and chatted. They came up with this idea. They said, we want to do a story where we kidnap you. I said, like, what? Like, I'm thinking, how much they had to drink? And they showed me a video where they kidnapped Mark earlier. Mark's come back from the gym. He's walking along, he's doing his marvelous Mark stuff.
I love that. It's just like you just had the gym feeling marvelous. May I say?
Exactly what he said. Exactly what he said. He goes, just finished gym, feeling marvelous, if I may say so. And I'm like, what's going on? And he leans in the boot of his car, and he's just like, you know, he's just like getting something out. Jack Union sneaks up behind him, hits him in the gut, throws him in the boot of the car. Mark's screaming, "Do you know who I am?"
you can't do this.
Yeah, exactly. You can't do this to me. He does a wheel spin, drives off. The next thing you know, we film an angle where I'm in the pub, and I go upstairs, and I'm knocking on the toilet doors. Knock, knock. Right, time to go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm in the men's toilets. Time to go, gentlemen. Pub's closing. I turn around, you know, and they both open the doors. They both walk out at the same time. And I'm looking like the other way. I turn around, and I'm like, you know, you see that moment of like, shit. I try to grab me. You know, they throw me into a toilet. They throw me into a cubicle. They beat me up, and they stuff a black bag over me. Then they film sticking me in the back of the car, me and Mark. I'm like, you know, I'm silly and he's mad, you know. So I'm like, oh, Mark. He's like, you're an idiot. Get me out of here. I'm like, oh, what are you doing here? He's like, you're an idiot, you know.
Yeah, that's what I really loved about that video. It's just like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? You put you in the boot. Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you idiot. And, you know, they dump us up on Dartmoor, or what we said was Dartmoor, and they leave us there. Then a few days later, we shoot an angle where they steal my gold. They steal my championship, and which is my, you know, if everybody knows Jason King, this is his, you know, this is his life. This is his mistress, his passion, his bank balance. This is everything, you know. So as the character goes, we attacked them while they were doing your podcast, if you remember, at the LEP Academy.
I remember that.
I come out, actually, a really funny moment. Jack Union's talking, and you ask him about Jason King, and we didn't plan when I was going to come out, and I was thinking, I'll just wait for the right moment. And Jack Union, he goes, the reason I don't like Jason King is because he's a no-good son of a, and I was like, surely not. He's not going to say that, is he? And I come out, whoa. He tells me afterwards, he goes, I didn't know when you were coming out. He goes, I was about to call you a bitch. I was like, well, I'm glad you did. You know, he said to me, he said, I didn't know what to do. I said, well, I'm glad I came out. You know what I mean? Like, So we come out and, I mouth off to him and Jack Union and Maximo. Mark sneaks up behind and smashes them both with a chair. And I hit my finish on both of them. And I threaten Maximo and tell him, you don't ever take my gold again, Really good angle, really passionate. Showed me and Mark, looking mean, looking mad, getting even. And we had one of my favourite matches I've ever had of my career at PWA too.
That match flowed, man. I was in the audience, and that match had a flow and just an absolute,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just had it. We had it. The audience wanted them, and they didn't want us. They didn't want us to win. I don't even think they thought we were going to win. It sounds silly because I think me and Mark as the Elite were somewhere and they were somewhere else. But I think that the people sort of thought these fuckers are going to get them. They're going to get these two. Because I've never been pinned in PWA. I've been there 5 times. That's something that a lot of people don't know. No one's ever pinned me. No one brings that up in the 9 months, 6, 7, 8 months I've been there, whatever. We never got pinned in that. We won the match. Mark, Jack Union went for his swanton bomb off the top rope on Marvelous Mark. Mark rolled out the way, hit the RKO, boom, 1, 2, 3. Good night, Irene. And we said, afterwards, this ain't over. We were hoping to work a program with these guys because the humor that we were going to put in, the stories we had planned, and it never got picked up, which is a damn shame. But that's the way wrestling goes sometimes. But my favourite angle, if you ever get a chance, Derek, to watch, and anybody else listening, go back and watch those videos if you can find them.
You know what? I'm going to have to try and find those videos now myself and see if I can link them in this.
That was my favourite angle, man, and my favourite angle by some way. Because I'm very big.
My favourite video in that whole thing was the phone call to the police.
Oh man, yeah, exactly.
It was absolutely hilarious.
We acted like we got back from Dartmoor and we were freezing cold and we're there shivering and we're calling the police. We're do you know we got arrested by 2 masked men? And he's like, sir, is this some kind of a joke? Do you know who I am? And Mark grabs the phone and goes, this is Marvelous Mark Walsh talking. They're like, sir, I don't know who you are. Of course you do. I'm with Jason King. They're like, sir, I don't know who you are. 2 masked Mexican men did not kidnap you and put you on Dartmoor. Do you expect us to believe that? And I'm taking the phone no, you listen to me.
Yes, of course we do.
Yeah, exactly. Of course we believe you, sir. Yeah, it was hilarious, man. We just got some, and I love character work and I love promos. Like you lot didn't know that. And I love talking. I love building the story. And we don't get to build stories enough in the Southwest, in my opinion. We don't build enough story. We just have matches for the sake of having matches. We need more story, we need more plot, we need more reasoning. And there's no reason you can't shoot a 5-minute skit, 30-second skit, anything, something to make things mean things. Yeah. We've all got every company, DWA, PWA, CPW, LEP, Pro Wrestling Pride, they've all got websites. They've all got Facebook pages. What stops you getting some guys together, filming some videos and promoting your shows and promoting your matches? I don't think any of them do it well enough. And that's not a dig at anybody. That's the truth. We don't at LEP. I wish we did more of it. It's something we can work on. Most definitely. We can, to build our stories. We built that story and it didn't get picked up by PWA in any way, unfortunately, due to whatever reasons. The story didn't get to go any further. But it was a shame because we could have carried that over into LEP. We could carry that anywhere, And man, that was so much fun. We got to have fun before we even got in the ring. There was a reason we competed, which added to the match, because the fans in the crowd knew what had happened. So they knew why I was running away. They knew why Mark Walsh was extra mean that night. They knew why TNT had an extra spring in their step. It all made sense, and you know what? I could do that match again and again and again and again. That was my favourite angle. That was so much fun. So thank you goes to Jack Union, who's not, wrestling anymore, which is a shame. Maximo, who's like my enemy, and but a good friend of mine, and Mark Walsh, who I got a lot of time for. I don't see much of Mark anymore, which is a shame. But 3 good guys that helped me through, and let me get my stuff in, and let them get their stuff, and man, we all had a good time. You know what I mean? We had fun, man, a lot of fun. Great, best angle.
That's brilliant. His second question was, whose finisher have you least enjoyed taking? I mean...
Oh, great question.
That is, isn't it? That is...
Oh, good question. Sorry. It's not a finisher. The move I least like taking is whenever I wrestle Danny Walsh, right? He's a shithouse because he always does this thing called what's called, I've been told, a blue thunder bomb. Now,
Oh,
I don't know what this move is, okay? We've never rehearsed it, and it's not Danny's fault. I should have spoke up and said, I don't know what that is. I don't know how to take it. But I didn't. I just went, okay. Which is a mistake. If you don't feel comfortable doing something, say, I don't know what that is. Can we change it? But I didn't. I went, yeah, okay. So I have no idea, okay, what a blue thunder bomb is. Now, those of you that know, bear with me as we start to suck eggs here. I'll stand in front of Danny with my arm over him. He'll pick me up in the air, spin me round, so I land back flat on the floor with my legs in the air. Does that make any sense? If not, if it doesn't, look up Sami Zayn or look up.
Sami Zayn is the one to look at, because he does it.
Sami Zayn, blue thunder bomb. Blue is in the colour, thunder is in thunder, and lightning, bomb is in bang. Blue thunder bomb. So we're there, and it was in where was it? It was in it wasn't DWA, it was Cornwall, I think. We wrestled in Cornwall in a tag match. Blue thunder bomb, boom, he hits it. I just jumped, didn't know where I was going, didn't know where I was spinning. I've got a great photo on my Facebook that shows me about 6.5 feet in the air. And because he's quite a tall guy, I'm quite light, he's quite strong, so he threw me up nice and high. I just gave him vertical leap, everything I had, and bang! Oh my word, when I landed like winded, crippled, broken. I was laying there like, oh, my life flashed before me, and it wasn't his fault at all. It was my fault because I didn't even know where I was going. I just kind of like went with it. Oh man, that move! I've taken it since. It's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. No problems whatsoever. Everything was absolutely fine. It was just that because I didn't know what the f I was doing. Man, I just went flying. I just went like I just went like shit, I don't know. I just landed in pain. But it's my fault because I couldn't protect myself to land because I didn't know where I was landing. So, it was on me. Like I don't give him any blame. He said to me, "Go, dude." I could have just said, "Look, dude, I don't know that one. Can we change it?" And he's a great guy. He'd gone, "Yeah, it's fine." But I didn't. I went, "Yeah, that's fine. Serves you right." So over I went. It turns out it's jump and spin, or I don't know. I still don't know till this day. And these days, I just hold my head and hope for the best. But that was my least favorite move to take, just because I didn't know where. Oh, that and anything from Chris Andrews, because he's so big and strong. I just felt like that. Man, and because he's so good too. He's extremely safe and but so big, so strong. That he could break me in half if he wanted. You know what I mean? He didn't, thankfully. So thanks, Chris. But he could have broke me in half, man. So but Blue Thunder Bomb tops the list at the moment.
Yeah, that move took it from TC Harris in training. And so I was there. I'm like, right. So you want me to?
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't figure the logistics, man.
And I'm sort of doing, okay, right. So I'm on the outside of you. I'm going to spin to the inside of you, and then you're going to powerbomb me. I was like, okay, I think I get it.
Yeah, exactly. I just hope for the best, fear for the worst.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? So, Claire T.C. Robinson asked, now this is two lovely questions here. That is just awesome. And that's, which wrestler first inspired you to become a wrestler? This is like old school Wrestlecast questions here with that one.
That one is oh god, it's so weird. It's a combination of two, because those that don't know, Ric Flair for me is the be all end all of everything. But he didn't inspire me in the beginning. I learned about who he was because I was a Hulk Hogan guy. How many of us are Hulk Hogan guys until we learn about wrestling? Then we realise we're not Hulk Hogan guys. Most of us will become Ric Flair guys. Or you get the Arn Anderson guys, or the, I don't know, Benoit guys, or the Guerrero guys, or the Kurt Angle, or the Malenko, or the Rock, or Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Taker. You become one of those, Stone Cold, one of those guys. No one ever remains a Hogan guy. No one. You might be a Jerry Lawler guy. You might be a Vern Gagne guy. You might be a Luthez guy. You might be a Buddy Rogers guy. You might be a Gorgeous George guy. But no one ever remains a Hogan guy once they get in the business. Not really. Not unless you're probably John Cena. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, he's probably the only one ever. But my first guy was Bret Hart because I knew who he was when he wrestled Shawn Michaels in the Iron Man. Didn't know who Shawn Michaels was. Didn't care. I knew Bret Hart was, and I wanted him to win. When he didn't win, I was quite upset. Now, he inspired me first simply because of his look and his conditioning. I couldn't believe like that these guys could do this for an hour. And I still thought it was real, but I won't use the term real. I still thought that wrestling was, a sport like boxing or mixed martial arts. It's not, as we know, but I thought it was. So watching these guys at this pace for an hour, he blew me away. He was what made me want to be a wrestling fan. Who inspired me to wrestle was The Undertaker. Because as I watched his character, I was just like, I learned what I now know about wrestling. What most of us that aren't kids now know about wrestling, if you see my drift. And I was like, I was just like, I watched The Undertaker wrestle Barry Windham one time on Monday Night Raw. The match lasted about 4 minutes. Barry Windham got one move in the whole match. I was so scared The Undertaker was going to lose. Like, I was so into The Undertaker. Windham hit one clothesline. I was like, Taker sat back up. Windham shoots him off. Taker ducks the line and does that jumping clothesline he does. And, I erupted out my seat at like 8, 9 years old, whatever I was. And I was like, I want to be that guy. I mean, I didn't know that Taker was 6'10" and 22 stone at that point. And I was, 4'6" and like 6.5 stone. But I was like, I want to be that guy. So The Undertaker, I think that made me want to be a wrestler because I wanted to be like that. I wanted to have this mysterious, dark, creepy, crazy, it was just the aura is what I wanted. I wanted that aura that he's got, that almost supernatural feeling. That's what it was. The Undertaker that made me want to. Bret Hart made me a wrestling fan. The Undertaker made me want to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
Good question. Very good question.
That was awesome. And now this is another awesome question. It's still from Claire T.C. Rawlinson. And that is, what words of advice would you give to somebody starting? Again, like I said, old school Wrestlecast questions, these guys.
Claire, good questions, man. So today ends my rookie year in the wrestling business. And
yeah, this is probably the best time to actually ask this of you, really.
Yes, I would agree. Doesn't mean, okay, that I'm a veteran in this business now. I am not. All it means is I'm in year 2, not year 1. That's all it means. I'm still like the new guy. You know what I mean? I'm still the new guy on the block. I am not. I don't want people to suddenly think, I think she's this old school grainy. I'm not any. I'm no like. I'm the new guy. I am the new guy that's still training, still learning every day. As you always do in wrestling. And
yeah. Well, I saw a video. Was it Chris Daniels? Actually, no. I think it's a quote on Angry Wrestling there on Facebook. Says the most important thing I've learned in this business is that I'll never stop learning.
How true is that? How true?
That cannot ring true because here's another thing. The UK Dominator, a man 25 years in this industry, said the same thing. You never know it all. I was like, if the UK Dominator doesn't know it all, nobody knows it all.
Not down here. Not in these parts. Nope. It's safe to say that if he don't know it all, where we're from in the southwest, then nobody knows it all. I mean, nobody knows it all anywhere. We know that, but he's he knows. You just watch him work before a show. It's not even at the show; it's before the show. When he does his stuff. Let's put Dom over for a second. When he does his stuff, you can't help but turn around and watch because you're like, oh, like I would be watching him and the way the little thing he'll go, no, there, then there, and you go,
yeah.
No, don't send him off there, stop him there, up there, then in there, and you're like, oh God, yes. And then they do, they practice what he's just said, and you're like, oh, that looks so much better, And you see that smile. I said to him the other day, I was watching him top him, and he turned around, he saw me, put his thumb up. I said, you love it, don't you? He said, yeah. He said, I do, I love it. And you can see he's sweating, and he absolutely loves it. But he's so good. Dom's one of those guys where, unless you're at a certain level, you almost don't know how good he is, because you don't see the little things that he does. He's so good that the little bits that he does better than other people. The little movements, the little way he switches something, changes something. A lot of people don't see it. They don't even know he's done it. They took it for granted, but most guys won't do it where he will, you know?
That's the thing. The UK Dominator is one of those guys where you can watch his match and you'll be blown away by it. But then you really watch his match and then you realise why you're being blown away by it.
Yeah.
There's seeing the match and then there's watching the match, observing the match. It's like Sherlock Holmes level. Once you get to that level, it's you're like, this guy's amazing.
Yeah, he's so good. Like I got a lot of time. Like I got to watch him at DWA because I don't really watch many wrestling shows anymore. Because it's just the way I feel. But I got to watch and I got to see some guys I really like. Tyler Hawk, I really like watching. You know, he's very, very good.
So smooth.
Yeah, love Tyler. And as a performer, and I got to see, you know, the UK Dominator, who I really like. I like the heels, you know, and I got to see the UK Dominator, man. It was really nice to, you know, to just be able to watch, because I know what I'm looking for, you know. So I like when I would watch little things you see him doing, I was just like, oh, that's so cool. Like, you know, we got some good guys down here. And going back to her question, we're almost answering it, I guess. What advice would I give? Listen, watch wrestling. Watch wrestling. How do you want to get better at wrestling? Watch, learn. Find a school. Like, I don't want to go over everything I went over last time, but I almost feel like I should. Find a school with a bit of reputation. Figure out who your coach is. When you find a school, what has your coach done? Who is he? Where's he been? Where's she been? Where have they been around the world? What have they achieved? What can they help you achieve? What can they teach you? Who do they train? Who are their students? Where can they get you? What can you get from that person? Because what stops me now saying, I'm a wrestling coach, I'm starting a school, I'm renting a ring and running it in Exeter. And I'm self-promotional a lot of the time. So I could probably put on a story that I'm this amazing wrestler that wrestles all over Devon and Cornwall. I could say, I'm a champion from Devon and Cornwall, champion wrestler from Devon and Cornwall. People go, oh, that sounds good. It's not really the truth about me. Or I am a wrestling champion, but I'm still very, very new. Don't be sucked in by somebody that says the right things. Take your time. Research these things. Please, I implore you to research first. Word of mouth, ask around. See who's got a good rep. Who have you seen on shows when you've watched local shows? What performers have you seen that you particularly liked? Are they a trainer? Can they put you in touch with a good trainer? You know? My advice would be that if you're going to wrestle, the other thing is get in a gym or get out on the streets and get running. There is absolutely no excuse. None. No excuse. Don't even think about making one up. I don't even want to hear the fucking, oh yeah, been smoking for years. I'll give up tomorrow. Fuck off. Don't waste my time and don't waste anybody else's time and don't waste your own time. Don't be giving me that, loves a beer, mate. Well, good luck with it. You loving your beer. Because if your beer and your ciggies are more important than your wrestling, you will never make it, and that's a fact. There's a time to drink, you know, in the business. There's definitely a time to drink. You know that. We all know that.
Yeah.
But your wrestling is not just what you do in that ring. It's what you do outside of it as well. It is a commitment. It's a life commitment. It's a full commitment. You don't just... The ones that only 50% hit are the ones that don't get nowhere.
Exactly.
I mean, okay, so if you turn up, you ain't in shape, and you don't bust your ass, you're going to hate wrestling. You're going to hate it. You're going to be sweating, you're going to be crying, you're going to be hurting. That's on you if you don't improve. Because you've got to put the work in outside of wrestling. You've got to look a certain way. You've got to be a certain way. And also, like I say, how you conduct yourself. Something I'm really big on is how can people act when they're in front of the fans and things. But I wouldn't worry about that at the beginning. What I'd worry about is the amount of effort you put into getting yourself into the right shape. Searching your coaches, searching your schools, finding out what they can do for you, who they are, where they've been, you know. And honestly, watching wrestling. Get into as many shows as you can, watching wrestling. Listening, learning. There's no saying in wrestling that says eyes open, mouth shut. Now, that is as it sounds. Quite plainly, what it sounds like. You know, when you first break in, man, shut the fuck up and listen. Listen to the guys that are where you want to be. The other thing I don't like is disrespectful people. I don't like when they disrespect someone who's where they want to be. Because you can't mouth off to somebody that's higher up the card if you're trying to get there. Because if he's got there, that means he's worked his way to get there. So fucking listen when he feeds back to you. You know, listen. You know, if you don't rate the performer, fine, but shut the fuck up and listen, please. You know, for your sake, not mine. You know, I listen to my feedback from everybody. You know, you take it in. Wrestling is a great business to be part of. You know, but you've got to be prepared to put the work in. Be prepared to grind. You know, wrestling is a lifestyle. My advice
Yeah.
is be ready for a lifestyle change. That's my advice.
The wrestling, when you talk about outside the ring, wrestling is, even if you've had a busy day and you're a bit shattered going to the gym, it's getting down on the floor and just banging out 5 sets of 15 to 20 press-ups.
Yep.
That's wrestling.
Yep.
That's what it takes. And it's like, yeah, and you will ask, it's also, if people give you advice, it's like, yeah, shut up and listen to it. It's like, and it doesn't really matter who you go to, because everybody who's sort of, I'm trying to think, everybody who's sort of like behind that curtain, anybody who's seen your match and who has actually been in the ring will probably have like a little tidbit, a little way that actually, if you do this instead of this, it will probably be better for you. I remember after Tottenham, you came and asked me what I thought of the match.
Of course, yeah. You're that proud of me. Yeah.
And I've been in the business, exactly half as long as you have. I'm half a year into the training, and you asked me, like, what did you think of it? It's like, it's that kind of thing, isn't it? It's like, it's, yeah.
Everybody's got a different view. I'm not above, I'm certainly not above asking somebody their opinion, because I don't bring everybody the same in the sense that we're all human. So you're a wrestling fan, okay? Your pal might be a wrestling fan. There's a guy, I'm not going to tell you who he is, but I used to critique as many of my matches as I can that isn't in the wrestling business whatsoever. It's a person that's in my personal life that I ask for their advice because because they're not really a wrestling fan, they're just a normal person. They come to the show because I'm on it and they watch and they just give me an honest view. If something wasn't very good, they'll say, why did that happen? And I'll say, but that's wrestling. They'll go, oh, I didn't know that was wrestling. Because they're not a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
They don't know. So the reason I use that person is because they can then say to me, like, why did that guy do that? And I'll say, well, the story is, and he'll go, yeah, but I didn't get that. I didn't know that. It's too, like, and it makes me think, okay, don't do that again. Because that means that some people don't. I want it so that.
It means it didn't work.
Yes. I want, like, a mass audience to be able to understand what we do in the ring. I want them to be able to appreciate what we do in the ring. You understand? And, like, I think, like, I use this person because they'll tell me if I've done something really shit, they'll say, like, or if I'm making a decision that I don't really know the answer to, like, I'll say, like, I don't really know what I should do about this or that, and they'll say to me, like, well, they'll break it down to me as though it wasn't in wrestling. It was outside of wrestling. It was in everyday life. So I can see it a different way, because there's a habit in wrestling, isn't there, of people seeing things in the wrestling way, like as a wrestler, as a performer, and then it clouds your judgment. Whereas if you try to take it out of the wrestling box and they explain it to you a different way, you're like, oh, that makes perfect sense. And then you put it back in the wrestling box, you go, nope, not doing that. Like, it's kind of like that, So that's it, man.
Yeah, it's always good to have a rounded opinion. It's definitely, like, for me, like, when you said go to shows, see who you like, and then ask who they can put you in with a trainer. It's like, for me, one of the match that convinced me was the CPW November 28th. We're there watching it. It's Danny Walsh versus Mark Walsh. That match was awesome. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It had Jamie Pieren getting caught out of midair with an RKO, and then turns out, guess what? They're both trainers. I was like,
You just like, go figure. You know what I mean?
I was like, well, hello. That was probably for me match of the night that night. If I want to have match of the night, why not go and get trained by people who have match of the night? People who know how to do the big crowd go, what the fuck spots? You know?
Spot on, John.
Exactly. So, the next question. Now, this is going to be a tough one to answer. This might be a bit too tough, but Fergus McLean asks, where does Jason King... Love him. Where does Jason King see himself in 5 years? And who would you like to face in the Southwest who maybe you haven't yet? I mean, in 5 years is a long way.
The thing is, it's tough because two things play a factor in that. One is my passion for wrestling. I didn't want to be a wrestler full time and make it my life and make my earning and living off wrestling until I watched NXT live. I have this saying, I say to a lot of guys that I ride with and a lot of guys that I hang out with, that I always say, I want to be blown away. I always say, you may have heard me say it, you may not have, but you ask the guys I ride with regularly, John, Good Kid and Goz will tell you, I always say, I want to be blown away. I want to be blown away. I want someone to blow me away. And I mean that in the ring. I want to watch a guy and go, fuck me. There are guys in NXT like Scott Dawson is an example of someone in NXT. He is so good. Some people don't even know how good he is. We talk about the little things that you watch Dom do. I watch these guys and I'm just like, oh, why didn't I think of that? Like that little twist, that little turn. And I love it, man. And I was not passionate enough, to be honest, for a long time. I used to wear just long black tights and black boots. Made me look fat, made me look like I wasn't really in shape. I didn't really put a lot of effort in, which is lazy considering I was made Academy champion. That was through my personality, my charisma. I was putting in effort, but I could have put in a lot more. I didn't have enough passion for wrestling to be a full-time wrestler. Then I watched NXT live. Like that in my head. It was like that in my head. I just went, now I'm blown away. I was like, now that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted, that feeling, that there. I went out, got whole new ring gear, changed my physique is different now. I'm leaner, my performances, man. I've stepped up now. I've took out some of the shit that I didn't need to do as my character and put in some stuff that will help me. I've worked harder at training. I've zoned in on my negatives. And I told myself, like, I want to be the all-round. Where do I see myself in 5 years? I want to be a wrestler. I do. I'd like to be somewhere like the WWE. Why can't I be? Is my question. Same question I've asked when I wanted to be a champion at poker. I wanted to be a personal trainer during a recession, and they said I couldn't. Same question I always ask when I ask myself these questions when I try to achieve things in life is, why can't I? Why? Someone will have to tell me what I'm not doing, what I don't have enough of, why I'm not good enough to be in the WWE in 5 years. Why? Why can't I? So that's where I want to be in 5 years, so why can't I? Put a comment on if you're watching this, or you see this back, and you play this video back, or someone tells you I've said this, spread that I've said that. Why can't I? Why? Spread it to everybody you know that wants to rip one on me, and have them tell me why I can't be there. Why can't I? Why can't I be in WWE? Why can't I be in TNA in 5 years' time? I don't see why I can't. So that's where I'd like to be. Unfortunately, Mr. Fergus, my personal life currently is what keeps me where I am. I live at home, just me and my dad still. It's a personal choice because of just because of the way things are in my life outside of wrestling. Without going into too much detail, I just right now it would be hard for me to just up and go. But where would I like to be in 5 years' time? Would be the WWE or TNA. Maybe I would like to have done a tour of Japan by then, or Europe. Something that's put me on the radar is where I'd like to be, I ain't getting any younger. I'm 27 as it is. So 5 years' time, shit, I'm going to be 32. Some of you at home there now going 28, 29, 30, 31. Oh, yeah, he's right. So, yeah, math was good, by the way. But, I'd like to be somewhere. I'd like to be living off wrestling, ideally, if I could. That's what I'd like. And who would I like to wrestle in the Southwest? That's such a nice question because I love the Southwest. I don't really have that desire to wrestle like up north. Like, I know everyone raves about NGW and obviously WAW and you know, Progress, and you've got like 4FW and VPW. These are all Pro Evo just up the road, CSF. All these companies I want to work for. I'd love to work for more, but I do like what we do in the Southwest. Like, I like the Southwest. I enjoy what we do here. Who would I like to wrestle? Who would I like to wrestle? Tyler Hawk, definitely, because I think we'd be having a match, and I think we'd both be able to do things like off the cuff during the match that would, those little things, those Scott Dawson things where I said he does little things you don't expect. I think we'd both be able to do little things, and I think we'd both be, and I admit that, and I won't admit this often, Tyler Hawk's a better wrestler than I am. He's, you know, some of you were like, no shit, like duh, but he's so very good that I'd love to work with him, because I know we'd have a lot of fun. I know that we could, I think, work well together. One of my how I've missed this guy, I'll never know, is John Harding. How the hell I've never wrestled John Harding, man? I'll never know. I'll never know how I've missed John. Like John is a baby face and I'm a heel. Like, how have I missed wrestling John? I have absolutely no idea whatsoever. None. Like, no. But I'd love to wrestle John. Never wrestled Mark Walsh. Wrestled Danny. I like wrestling Danny. The more wrestling, the better it gets. He's another one where the chemistry's coming now really nicely. My mate Brim and Grace, two guys I love to wrestle. I got really good chemistry with Brim. I had the best match of Brim's career for the LEP Academy title. I got my bookings. My first bookings all came from a seminar I did at a Bram seminar. Brim Forbes, the guy that had been wrestling 2 months at that point, and I got a booking because of my performance at the Bram seminar, because of my work with Brim. Me and him, we just clicked. Like, it was weird. We just clicked like straight. And Grace is another one. Me and him on the same wavelength. But Brim is one I love to work with. It's weird. Like, it's weird. We just clicked. We just clicked straight away. We'd be calling it to each other. We'd be like, yeah, and then this, and then yeah. Like, we just knew. Like, you know. But yeah, Tyler, Mark, John Harding, guys I like to work. Danny Walsh again. Who else is there? Wrestled Eddie Ryan briefly. You know, who else would I like to work? There are lots of names, but those are the ones that stand out to me, that coming up rolling off the top of my head. Those are the guys I'd like to work. Off the top of my head, I guess that's the answer. I want to build the King's Court again, so you know, we'll see. But those are the guys off the top of my head.
Yeah. You mentioned comments there, and it made me realise they're not popping up in the chat, which means I'm going to have to flick over to the YouTube page and refresh it. And we have got quite a few comments. Derek's been commenting as we've been going along. Yeah, and one of them is that the handshake is an old tradition that comes from the old days of wrestling. It's basically the baseline of respect.
Of course, yeah, spot on.
Joe Obrey commented, "You suck,
Jason."
Jason.
Here we go.
You know, you suck, Jason. That's what he said.
You suck, Jason. Thanks, John. Thanks for your input, pal.
Derek, once again, he's matches always need a reason. Completely agree. Derek, again, it's Derek. He's commenting a lot. This is cool. I love this. And it's a good thing I've managed to do it before the end of the show, actually. Go find them, Glenn. Would love a watch. That'd be referring to the TNT promos. So I really do need to find them now. I've got something relying on me.
Yeah.
And then, that's a comment about a tech issue. Yeah. And then it's the tech issue thing. It's just like, oh yeah, we've got some echo. We've got some I can see and hear you, Jason. You know. And by me when I disconnected. But yeah, that's cool comments. That's some really cool comments down there, actually. That's awesome. Now, here's an interesting question from Chris Daly. Would you fight Johnny Cowling?
Would I fight Johnny Cowling? Does the bear shit in the woods? You know? Does the Pope believe in God? Would I fight Johnny Cowling? Look, I once got offered the chance to fight a midget. You know, I would fight. I'll wrestle anybody and try to make it a story. You know, the story with Cowling, so it goes, was the idea was for me to wrestle him. And, you know, I don't want to slate anybody, like I said at the podcast. I'm not that kind of guy. Like, if you know me, I don't really slate anyone unless I think they've earned it. You know, I don't want to go to town on anyone, but here's a guy that I challenged 3-4 times. And where I come from, if somebody calls your name, it's time you answer. You know what I mean? Your name gets called one time, you can ignore it. Your name gets called a second time, maybe you think that the guy fancies you. When your name gets called the third time, it's time to answer. You know what I mean? And Johnny Cowling, basically, he must have me on like auto block list by now. I can't keep. How many times can I call this guy's name before it's time for him to, come out of his home and get in the ring at CPW? If there's another radio presenter that's got some testicles, that wants to go. I mean, I'll wrestle anybody. I never. When I wrestle Johnny Cowling, I would. I'll go to his house if you tell me where he lives. I'll pickets outside his house saying Cowling the coward. Bring him on. I wanted it. I said I'd do it at CPW, and I can only apologise on his behalf, since he probably doesn't have the balls to apologise to you all. I'll apologise for him that he didn't put the effort in to come out and do this with me. So don't fear. I got something else lined up for you at CPW. So mark my word, hand on heart, I've got something lined up for you. So don't worry. Don't panic. We don't need him. If you've come to a CPW show, you're getting, your money's worth. That I'm giving you a performance. So don't worry. Would I wrestle him? Yes. But if I don't get to, don't worry. Don't worry. I got more lined up. So don't worry. It's cool. It's all great.
Yeah, I remember those promos. They were funny, So I was about to read out the wrong name there, just out of habit. It was Rich. This is coming from Richard Jones. You know who I was about to say, didn't you? This comes from Richard Jago. It's like, no, it doesn't. No, it's Richard Jones.
Yeah, you got the minerals to comment on this podcast, mate.
I've got the mineral. Yeah, I haven't got the minerals.
You ain't got the minerals, pal.
He ain't got the minerals. No, he has not.
Pass that on.
Yeah. So, do you prefer being called Burger King or Jason Queen? Which is basically another Joe Obrey style question, really, isn't it?
Fuck Joe Obrey.
Yeah, fuck you, Joe. No, I like Joe. I like him.
I like Joe Obrey. Don't like John Obrey.
His facial reactions make me laugh.
His bald head and beard make me laugh. Oh, no, he didn't. You hear that, John? So, what do I prefer to be called? I don't mind. What do you prefer? What do you like calling me? As long as you chant something, I'm happy. You can call me Burger King. You can call me Jason Princess, Jason Queen. You can call me, man, I don't mind. Like, what do you like? I just love that they chant it. Like, they have so much fun. You can see I get frustrated when you do it. So, so I'm trying to say something and you're chanting Burger King. I'm like, ah. So, you're doing your job as well as I'm doing mine. So, whatever works for you, I'm easy going. You know what? I'm going to sit here and say I don't like either. And the next time you call me either of those, you're going to get one of these. All right? That's my warning to every single wrestling fan on this podcast. You call me Burger King or Jason Princess, you're going to get one of these. How'd you like the sound of that?
You don't want to take a fist from Jason King.
Same goes for you, pal.
For me?
Yeah, for you.
I'll probably get one when I wrestle you, if I ever do.
That is laughable.
We'll save it for the ring. It for the ring. It's not completely laughable. I mean...
I had a pretty good giggle.
Hey. I once stomped on an ant. That ant did not walk again, mate. All right? That's how fucking hard I am. That went completely random now. I'm sorry. I do apologise. We're not going to go down that tangent. Because this is an awesome question. This is actually a very, very interesting question, which a lot of people, when Plymouth happened, a lot of people were talking about sort of this, crowd reaction actually not being the typical reaction to Jason King, i.e., boo, is more Jason. So this question is actually quite an interesting one following on from that, and it is, as we see a continued support growing for Jason King, will we see a potential face turn, and could it lead to the downfall of the Jason King that we know right now?
Good question. look, I got a grilling the other day from a close friend of mine because I got cheers and I didn't even ask for the like. I told this silent party, like I mentioned earlier, that I was getting cheered. They were so mad at me, like they were so mad. But the thing is, I uh, I I work very very hard, and I put in a lot of effort to to my performances and my work. And I think that what happens is people start to notice it. Like people aren't stupid, they're not. People can see when somebody's giving their all. And I think what's happening over time is people are beginning to appreciate it. You know, the curtains pulled back in wrestling these days, and I think you can see the guys that work hard and the guys that don't. And I think people are beginning to see my performances, and they're starting to. I think it's starting to make people realize, like, I'm trying so hard, man. I'm trying really very, very, very hard to keep that vibe in the crowd. I work very hard on my crowd work, and I try really hard to make sure everybody goes home with a feeling of some description. And I think it's starting to make people really appreciate me. I think that's what it is. I don't know if they're cheering me because they like me or if they just appreciate what I do. I do.
I would think that's probably a large part of it. I know for a fact I'm supposed because it's an arrogant, cocky prick gimmick. I'm supposed to hate the winner, PJ Jones. I'm not supposed to cheer this guy. Every time he goes winner, I'm supposed to go, "You suck, mate. Boo you." But I can't because I appreciate just the sheer passion and commitment that's gone into every single time he yells it.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I'm just like, yeah, you go winner.
Yeah. PJ's another example. Good worker. Always takes a good bump. And I think that PJ is an example of a guy where, like you just said, people appreciate his work. They appreciate his effort, and he starts to get cheered because he's funny and he works hard. I mean, he's a guy that puts it in, so you kind of you want to laugh with him. You're like, oh, that guy's cool. That guy's good. And then that feeling, that I've got that smile of like, then you're like, no, I've got supposed to put him. But you can't help but like some people. I do. I put a lot of work with kids at wrestling shows. I really put a lot of my time and effort into making sure they have a good time at the show. And I, often signing photos with children, taking photos, and making sure they're having. If you come as a family, I always want to make sure you see wrestling as a family show, as a show you can bring the whole family to, mum, dad, brother, sister, daughter, son, nan, dog, cat, tortoise. I want to make it so that you can bring everybody. So I that's probably where it stems from. They see me after the show when I'm no longer performing, and I'm a different person than I am in the ring. So what sometimes happens, and I think started happening at Topsham, there was just a smattering, about a third of the audience, when I came out, my music hit, they saw me, they knew who I was, and I could hear them cheering, and I thought, like, oh, blimey, what happened there? Like, I thought, okay, so I, turned up the bad stuff, and I put on a career performance at Topsham, and, that's not my words, that's the feedback from my peers, from those above me, those below me, and the people in the crowd. I've been told many times that was the one that maybe made people say, okay, this guy's ready for, a little bit more, if you will. And Plymouth was even more, I wrestled a chap, Vincent Andrews, and I climb up to the rope to get booze, and they just went mental. They just lost their, I swear women were taking their panties off and slinging them at me. It was ridiculous. Like, they're like, everybody just went maze, and I was like, okay, what happened there? And I smiled, like, because I was so caught off guard. I could see the kids cheering, and I kind of smiled back and thought, whoa, man, what happened there? And then my opponent goes up, and they kind of cheer him and kind of boo him, and that's not a dig at him. I go back up, they cheer me again. I'm like, what's happening? Like, what? What's going on, man? And I guess it's, I think it's appreciation. I think they appreciate my work. And I think for that, I thank them. I'm trying my very best. You will never ever get less than my 100%. Ever. You won't ever, never. Because I'm not made up that way as a person. So you have to understand that for me, I'm giving you my all. I'm giving you my everything. So I think it's a lot of appreciation. And you know what? I appreciate them. Like, you can boo me, you can cheer me. I don't mind. Just make some noise. Just show me something. And I promise you, in return, you'll get my 100. Give me your 100 as a wrestling fan. Boo, cheer, scream, cry. I don't mind. And I promise to give you back my 100. So, do we see a face turn? Okay, since you've asked for it. Ready? Watch. Are you watching? Watch. See this? See that? One more time. Ready?
Oh, shit!
What was that?
That was me containing marking out for the
There you
Jason
go.
King face turn.
There you go.
That, by the way, do you want to know how long that took? That took an hour and 3/4, and we're done with the fan questions. Man, you covered a lot there. In fact, a lot got covered in that. That was a really good range of questions, actually.
Yeah, man. We appreciate it. I know you do, and I know I do. It's a chance to give back, guys, and just talk about what we've done in this year.
Yeah.
We've gone through so many emotions, man. The guys we've seen come and go, the girls we've seen come and go, and the shows. I've been able to perform for 4 different companies in this year: PWA, DWA, LEP, CPW, and I've had so much fun from my first match. You know what? Let me tell you a story. My first match down here in the Southwest, it's like Thursday afternoon, and we get a message for like 25 of us in a group chat on Facebook. Danny Walsh is like, "Hi guys, so we're putting a show on this Sunday. Hope you can all be there. Starts at 2. I want you all there at 12." And I'm like, "What? Like what? What? Like what? What just happened? What? How does he mean me?" Because you've got to bear in mind, I've done 1 seminar and 2 sessions. Or 3 sessions. 3 sessions and 1 seminar at this point. And I'm like, what does he want me there for? And I'm thinking, I'll be backstage. This will be well good. I'll get to meet all the wrestlers. I turn up on the day wearing just trackies and red night trainers and a vest. Because I'm just thinking, like, yeah, I'll be backstage hanging out, wearing my cash clothes. He's like, "Oh, James, good to see you, man. You need to see the chap I was wrestling. I'm not going to mention because he's a waster and a piece of shit." But my opponent at the time... and Dan says to me, "Go and see this prick," and we're chatting, and he says, "Yeah, you're wrestling me today." I'm like, "I am." He goes, yeah, you win because I always lose." I'm like, what? Like, what? I'm wrestling? And I'm looking around, man, and I swear to God, I've got night trainers, bright red night trainers, and Adidas trackies on. I'm just like, I'm wrestling this? like really? The match was so-so for where we are in our careers, man. And, that was the first time I won a wrestling contest, but passable little match for what it was, hit my finish for the first time, and I got good heat. Crowd booed me. They knew I was a baddie. They were very accommodating for me being a baddie, so thank you. They really helped me. They're good people at LEP. They really helped me, zone in on my bad guy stuff. And, from the beginning there to working at CPW, to moving into PWA and, more matches in LEP and really growing, getting some stuff with DWA. And, the thing is, I guess the thing is, the year's been so fun. Look at the things we've done in that year. The people I've met, the gold. This is my, people, let me speak about this if I can, right? What this means. One thing I really, really wanted to get across today was what this means to me outside of wrestling. It's no secret what it means to me inside of wrestling, but what it means outside of wrestling is important to me. And what it is we talk about respect, and you're given a championship in wrestling. It is my opinion. You're given a championship as either a reward, as a way of saying your hard work, your efforts. This is our thank you for what you've done. That's your promotion at work. That's your pay rise at work. It's one of these. The other reason you're given it is because you're at a level where you can make it mean something. You can make this, you can legitimize what this is. Now, I could not legitimize this when I first got it. When I first started, I couldn't, because I was nobody, and I was, I wrestled one match, and 4 matches took my entire career. And 291 days I've had this belt. And I believe, and I've had real positive feedback from my peers, from, people within the industry, that have been extremely kind about my performances with this belt. What I mean by that is I wanted to take this belt from being what was looked at as a trainee title. Trainee is a terminology we use for people that are still training, learning to wrestle, which I don't like, because everybody is essentially a trainee forever. When do you stop learning? If you're not Shawn Michaels, you're not The Undertaker, you're not Chris Jericho, you're not Ric Flair, you're not Kurt Angle, you're not Eddie Guerrero, you're not Benoit, you're not Dean Malenko, you're not Jamie Noble, you're not Daniel Bryan, you're probably still learning forever. You know what I mean? You're always going to be learning forever. Why do you think the WWE has agents? Why do you think after 15 years you get sent to NXT when you join the WWE? Because you're always learning. So are you still a trainee? You know what I mean? I use the term academy student. Okay? And I had the goal in my mind to make this championship mean something in our part of the country, in the Southwest. I didn't want it to just be a trainee, he won a trainee title. I wanted it to be looked at as though it was a legitimate championship. I wanted it to be looked at as though it was something that meant something to win. I wanted it to be looked at as though it wasn't the champion of all the trainees. It was the champion of the guys that work every single week. You've got at LEP guys that train every single week without fail. Every single week. Every week. They're improving every week. How many wrestlers that are no longer trainees, academy students, can tell me they put in a grind every week? They still practice, they still train, they still try to progress. Very, very fucking few, right? Before I lose my fucking temper, I'd rather do it face to face with certain people, but they want to piss on what you do, and they want to say you're they want to use that term trainee. Motherfucker, you can call me anything you like, but if you're going to insult me, make sure you put in some effort when you insult me, right? Because if you expect me to get insulted, you need to put in some fucking effort when you insult me, right? Or I'm not going to bother getting insulted. So don't waste your breath and don't waste my fucking ear time. You can call me anything you fucking like, and I don't give a rat's ass. You can call me an academy student, you can call me a trainee, you can call me a piece of shit, but you can never ever tell me that I'm not good at what I do, because I fucking am. You can whisper it, but you can never say it in public, and you certainly can't say it to me, because you look like a prick when you try it. Winning this meant so much to me that I wanted not just me to grow with this belt, but everybody it surrounded to grow with this belt. I don't believe this belt is now, these days, looked at as a trainee championship. It's looked at as a championship that is it will be won by guys that are busting their ass every week. By winning this, I am told, this tells me I am the number one guy that continues to get better every day. Do you know how hard it is to get better every day? Hold on to this, when there are 10, 15 other people getting better every single day, snapping at your heels every day. Every day. Someone at LEP is getting better and better and better. It is so hard to convince people I'm the guy that should be holding this. It's so hard because they're so good. People want to say, they're trainees. I don't give a shit what you call them. Motherfuckers are getting good enough to win this. I know they are because I see them every week. This is like, to me, the NXT Championship of the Southwest.
Yeah.
We are the future. We are. And some of us are becoming the present. This belt means so much now because I have defended it and I've worn it everywhere. I've beaten guys that are not considered academy students. When I lose this championship, one day I'm sure I will. This is like the Intercontinental Championship of LEP Wrestling. The next guy to win this championship is a guy that would have worked his fucking ass off. Because of how hard I work. No matter what you want to call me. Because of how hard I work. If you're the guy that gets tested with taking this from me, being the next in line, you're going to be a hard-working motherfucker. You are going to be a hard-working motherfucker. Because I work too hard to just have someone tell me to lose this to somebody that ain't worth it, ain't ready. Because I'll say, nah. If you ain't good enough to be a champion in wrestling, you don't deserve it, and I believe that. This to me. This is the belt that is won by guys that work every week, 2, 3, 4 times training every week, putting their bodies through that pain for nothing in return other than experience. You might call it the best of the trainees. I call it the championship that says I'm the number one guy of everybody that works hard, that outworks other people. That's an accolade you can't take from me. You can't. One day someone will. But they'll be ready and they'll be worth it. They'll be worth it. I can't wait for that day in a strange way. I'll be upset because I'll miss it. Says Jason King right there. But they will earn it. This is my giving back to wrestling. This is how I give back. When it's my turn to do what needs to be done, I should be able to give back. I should be able to say, okay, boss's orders. I can't wait for that moment because the motherfucker that takes it from me, he'll be ready. I promise you, he'll be ready. He'll be ready. We're breeding guys that earn their spot, that put in the work, that put in the time, and it's passionate. I'm passionate because some negative things have been said recently about some of us, and I don't take it to heart so much, but I don't like hearing it. I find it, again, disrespectful. You can call us what you want, but don't ever question our work ethic. Don't ever question what we stand for. Don't ever question the credibility of what we do. I wanted to make that point very clear. In the year I've been here, I've worked very fucking hard. Very, very hard. I'm not slowing down either. I'm not slowing down. I'm just getting going. I want to put my point across. I don't want to lose my temper or anything, but I wanted to get my point across, about the effort we put in, man. It's important to me. Make that very clear. Very clear.
Yeah, that's crystal. Also checked over to the comments whilst you're talking there, and a man who has faced you for that championship, Mr. Mad Dog Andrews, was such a privilege to work with Jason, 42 Carat Diamond. I love the man. And I think you're right. And that title, what that title says to me, every time I go down there and train, every time I'm there training, I'm like, that title says to me, if I win that title, that means I'm the guy who's been seen as the future. I'm the guy. I am the guy that's going to then go, I'm going to take this title, I'm going to bust my ass, I'm going to continue training with this championship, and then when I'm dropped this championship, I'm now going to be, that title is the title that's like, this is it. You have now really broken through into something quite special.
Absolutely. If I think of it as the Intercontinental Championship of the Southwest, now some people will rib me for that, but what I mean is this is your first step. There was a time when the Intercontinental Champion was a guy that you put the belt on to see what can he do if given that pressure. What does he sink? Does he swim? This is your do you sink or do you swim? That's what this is. It's a huge pressure. People have picked it up at training. They've walked around with it in the ring. They've smiled. They joked with me about it. You wait till your day comes. Guys have come through, and I'm not disrespecting anybody. Grayson Reeves came through. Supercat came through. Jack Union came through. Dickhead Willie came through. They were all told they were really, really good, but they didn't have the pressure of carrying this. Do you understand what it means to carry it outside of wrestling too? The way you must conduct yourself, the way you must be, the way you have to hold yourself, the way you dress, the way I present myself to the public. I take it 100% seriously at all times, professional at all times, because I represent this and it represents me. It's a life lesson, man, being a champion. It's like you said, the guy that takes this gold, the guy that takes this is not just some trainee that worked hard. He's somebody that's put his life and his everything, his blood, sweat, and tears into what we do. It's his turn, and they'll say, right, you'll go, and you will sink or you will swim. Don't ever think that this doesn't mean anything, ever. This is
championships always mean something.
Of course they do.
The champions are the ones who are the pinnacle of the company at that moment.
Yeah. It's a proud honour. Very proud.
So,
very proud. You know, there's prestige now, and I want to keep it that way. You know, I want it to be so, you know, I want it to mean something, you know, and it will.
And that's the thing. It's all about passion. That at the end of the day is the one thing that you embody. I think as a wrestler is so passionate about what you do, and it rubs off. And it's rubbed. I'd say it's definitely rubbed off in this podcast, and that's why I created this podcast, man. That's why this podcast is on episode 18. That's why this podcast came with episode 1. It was to show people
what we love.
Yeah, show the guys off and let them just talk about what they do, because you get the passion for it. It rubs off in this podcast. And every time I get a comment, every time a fan question gets submitted, that means somebody who's watched the podcast and is relying on me to get an answer that they want from their guys, and that means something to me. That means like, yes, this podcast is worth doing. Of course. And it's like, that's what I love about this whole thing. Today was good.
It's like we said earlier. I think it's like we said earlier. The starting to get a little cheer here and there. You know, it's effort. I believe that they appreciate our effort as we appreciate them. We appreciate them coming to watch us perform, and I believe that in return they appreciate what we give back. You know, and I think it's when done well, there's no show like wrestling in the world. There's nothing like wrestling in the world. When done right, you know, when done right, there's nothing like wrestling in the world. Nothing that can compare, in my opinion, to a good wrestling show. You'll never get a show like it. You know, you can see Cirque du Soleil, you can go see a live band, you can see, you know, sporting events, but nothing, in my opinion, compares to a live wrestling show when done right. That's my opinion. It's my belief. You know, nothing compares, man. And, you know, listen, before we go, I want to share a few funny stories. A couple of things that One is in the locker room in Plymouth. I was trying to think of a funny story earlier on, and I'm going to... Do you know the one I mean that I'm going to tell?
I think I know which one you're on about.
Yeah. I wanted to leave with a funny story to make everybody laugh. So the show's finished. We're all backstage. Guys of all ages actually backstage. I won't say any more than that about it.
You shouldn't.
No. And I'm showering, and obviously you shower naked. It's not a, you know, that's a normal thing. And I just looked around. I was talking to somebody about my match. I think it was Glenn while he was eating his dinner. We were talking about the match and what we thought, how it went, and I come walking out the shower completely naked. There's a locker room full of guys, man, and everyone's like, you know, screaming and jumping. I thought, I'm gonna make this even more worse. I start running towards them naked. Man, Glenn, you were right there. I'm not kidding. 10 grown men, like legging it out the room, man. They're all running, shit themselves. Good God, And you know, I go back in there, like, start lathering myself up, and I was laughing and thinking, oh, that was so funny. And I put all this soap all over me like you do, and I mean, I'm head to toe in soap, man. Head to toe. And I think to myself, that looks even funnier now. I was like, because I'm covered in soap. So I hide behind the corner. If any of you have been to the Stonehouse Creek Leisure Centre, you know, like, where the showers are, like, and there's that wall in the locker rooms. So I'm hid behind that wall, and they all come back in, and there's like 8 of them. And I come running out this time, all covered in soap. Oh, if you thought you saw them run fast the first time, oh my God, man! I go Well, I mean, all ages too. They're like,
it's like the zombie apocalypse started. Yeah, that's how quickly they bolted.
They're fighting each other, scrapping each other to get by. And my mate, Mr. Roy, just stood there smoking his vape. He's like, never even flinched. Never even flinched. He's seen me naked so many times. He was like, "Oh yeah." Never even, and he didn't even blink. Like, he didn't even blink. Glenn had decided he was not in the mood to run. So I catch Glenn thinking, aha. I'm thinking, I've got one. And what ensued was me telling Glenn, trying to scare him, going, Glenn, I'm naked. You know, I mean, I'm naked right in front of him too. And he's like, oh yeah.
You're literally about it, like the distance. You're probably closer to me than my computer screen is right now.
Yeah. And I'm like, Glenn, and he goes, not now, I'm eating. I'm like, Glenn, I'm trying to go. I bent over in front of Glenn, soap all around my private areas. I'm like, Glenn. I'm like, why don't you put soap on me, Glenn? And he's just like, no, Jason. I'm eating my dinner.
I just literally,
literally.
you're just like, Glenn, soap up my ass. I was like, not now, Jason. I'm eating. Maybe later. Mate. That's literally what it was. Like, maybe later, mate. That's literally what I said.
It was, man, I got 1,001 stories. Like we could tell. That's just one recently. We got many stories about the ice bar. Many stories when we've been traveling on the road.
Oh, that was funny. That ice bar one was funny. That's time after the Plymouth show. That was hilarious. Just like random woman comes up to you, just sits on your lap and grabs your balls, and you're just like, "Well, that was quick." And then she goes, "What's this?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm from Scandinavia." Like, yeah, it's cold up there, and she's like caressing your genitals. And you're just like, "Yeah, it's cold up there, isn't it?" And then she goes, and says, "I'm from America." I'm like, "Huh?" We're just confused. And I'm there hearing Oslo get mentioned. I'm like, what, are we all going to Oslo?
First of all, she's like, you want to come downstairs? And I said, what for? She's like, see my friends? I'm thinking, there's nobody down there. She would like to do the needful with me. And I'm guessing. And I said, what for? She goes, to see my friends. I'm thinking, there's no one down there. Before you know it, she, as you politely put it, started to caress my genitals. And I said to her, I said, well, that didn't take long. She had this shocked look on her face like, oh my God! And I was thinking, what a classy woman, eh? I mean, 2 minutes before that, I got chatted up in a kebabi.
I love that though. She's that woman in the kebabi there is just talking to you, and she goes, "Oh yeah, it's really nice to meet you." I come walking past you, just going, "Yes."
Wrestling's got a lot of fun. We had nights out where we all stay at Jack Union's house. And Maximo's, I'm sharing a bedroom with Grayson, and Maximo jumps on the bed and breaks the bed. He breaks the bed. And I come in, I'm screaming at the top of my voice at 3 a.m. We're all shouting, we're all laughing. And I remember, I've seen the video back. And I'm laughing. As I'm laughing, I'm pulling my belt off, like my leather belt, right? I've seen the video, and I don't know why. I'm pulling it off, and I'm shouting at the top of my voice. And as I'm taking this belt off, during the video, I just start whipping Maximo. I'm whipping him hard, too. I don't even know why. I'm screaming at him. I'm shouting right in his face. I'm whipping him on my belt. Boom. I'm like, yes. I have no idea why. I've absolutely no idea. He's like, ow, you're whipping me. I don't, man. He showed me the next day. I just beat the shit out of him, my belt. I don't even know why. I have no idea why. We were just pissed as hell, man. I woke him up at 4 a.m. He's in the room asleep, and there's a knock at his door. I don't remember this either. He tells me this. He showed me the video, and there's a knock at his door, and he goes, "Yeah." The door opens, the light comes on. I walk in, I'm like, "Yes!" Top of my voice, and leave again. 4 a.m. man. I have no idea. I don't even know. I must have woke up and just gone into his room. I don't even know why. I don't even know why I did it. I have no idea. But we did have so much fun too. We have lots of fun now. We love what we do. We love performing. We love what we do. All in all, man, this year has been so much fun for me. It's been one of the best years of my life. Here's to another year in wrestling. Assuming I stay injury free and life dictates and allows me to continue to do this. I really hope, I go strength to strength. It's been a good, fun year. It has been 291 days. I do just want to say in closing, guys, thank you all for your support. I want you to know this, okay? Times are hard and money is tighter. But when it comes to this, I will always win because I'm the best fighter. Guys and girls, thank you for listening. Remember, long live the king.
Absolutely. And then my closing statement, because this has embodied what the podcast was all about. Yeah, it went on for a long time. I knew it would do, but hey, this is a special edition of the podcast. It's not normal. I will find all the links that I can to put all the relevant stuff in here. I'm going to be searching for quite some time to do that, so it probably won't be. You'll probably have to come back if you're watching live now. You're probably going to have to come back tomorrow before I've finally linked everything. But I do also have some news for you, because Jason's finished his first year. Well, I can now announce to you tonight that it's confirmed, penciled in, on Sunday. Your glutton, I mean, we've had a glut of Wrestlecasts this week, haven't we? We had my birthday one, we've had this one. The Sunday one's going to go ahead as usual, and the guest on that is phenomenal, because Jason spent his first year in professional wrestling. This man has been in the business for, there's 10, 16 years in the business. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest this Sunday will be The Rocker, John Harding. And if I know John, he would tell you, until that point, you should probably keep calm, keep rocking. This has been the special edition of the podcast, episode 18, with the LEP Academy champion Jason King. I'm Glenn Chun. Thank you very much for watching, guys.